So, hello everyone. This is a marathon submission video for Mega Man Battle Network 3. This is a video to showcase the run in its entirety. We are currently expecting an estimate of either about 3 hours or maybe 259 if we're thinking trying to be a little... What am I saying? I don't know. Words. Anyway. Joining me today on commentary is Smog and Terra. So Smog, want to introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, I'm Smog, also known as SmogBN on Twitch. I'm a Battle Network runner, mostly focusing in the first trilogy of the game, 1, 2, and 3. So I've got, plenty of hours put into 3 as well, and I know the route decently well, though there are some new things that Rish is going to show off that is going to make the time even faster, so I'm excited to see it.
Thank you, Smog. Yes, Smog is an excellent BN3 runner and one of the more newer runners to the game as well. And then, on the flip side, we have a very experienced Battle Network runner, Taraj. Want to introduce yourself?
I'm Taraj42. I've been speedrunning Battle Network on and off since 2014. One day I hope to learn how to also beat Battle Network 3 quickly.
Alright, so with that, I think we're just going to get right into it. But the first thing I do have to mention is, for this particular run, I will be probably resetting a few times at the start. I'm trying to hit an audio cue on the title screen to manipulate a particular element. I'm trying to set up a style change for about an hour into the speedrun, and specifically trying to get Elec. So, going to quickly do that, and then we will get into the run. Let me actually make sure I can soft reset. There we go. Alright. That should be first try.
So, welcome to the world of Battle Network. If you're familiar with classic Mega Man, Mega Man X, Mega Man Zero, this is not that. Gone is the platforming, and in is the RPG. We have a very nice looking isometric sort of overworld with this kid named Lan and his net navigator, Mega Man. If you're at all familiar with Battle Network, it's sort of internet based, and this is the combat system, this grid based system. The grid is each 2 sides of 3x3, and we have these card-like elements, deck-like elements with special chips. For example, these cannons that Rish is using right now. There are various rules on how you're allowed to pick different chips. For example, if there are 2 cannons, you can pick them. If there are 2 chips with the same letter code, which you might be able to see, both of those chips were L-coded, you can pick them even if they are different.
Wow!
And then there's also, other than letters, the 26 normal codes, we have an asterisk code, or a star code as we will probably be referring to it, which is sort of like a wild card, pick with anything else sort of code. The final system that we're taught in this tutorial is the add mechanic. You can choose something like 3 chips and get rid of them, and then the next turn, not only will you have 3 new chips, you'll have 6 new chips. Basically, it sort of doubles. And it's very good if you have a bad draw and you're looking to scroll through your library until you get, a strong chip that you're looking for.
I have a question.
Sure.
Why is the blue guy on the red tiles?
It's a good question. So, if you want to ask, if you want to know about it, you're only really allowed to move in your sort of side of the grid, the red tiles, which is, it starts the battle with it being 3x3. And there are certain chips that you can use, or certain abilities that the enemy can use, which will increase or decrease your area.
Yeah, so I'm about to soft reset and do an RNG manipulation for Green Mystery Waves. Wait. Green Mystery Data. I know what game I'm playing right now.
Yeah, it's the Star Force.
Terry, I want to talk a bit about how Green Mystery Data manip works.
Yeah, so Rish right now is doing what we call the quintuple frame perfect, where he uses 2 different visual cues on the title screen, along with buffered pixel perfect turns here to avoid all random encounters and reposition the green mystery waves into specific locations such that, hold on, I'm just going to pick one up. Beautiful. And, wait.
Easy every time.
Let's go.
Okay, so technically, the 2000 Zenny drop from these green mystery data in the second area is a 1 in 16?
Yes, 1 in 16.
Right? And so normally it's like you wouldn't expect to get 1, much less 2, but by jacking in after a soft reset, because the way RNG works in this game, we're going to abuse it a lot, is that when you reset the game, there's 2 different random number generators going. One of them, and they control different aspects of the game. If you do a hard reset, both of them restart to a known value and then continue on in a predictable way that we can sort of anticipate. A soft reset will reset one of them, which happens to control all of the aspects related to green mystery data. So Rich can do a soft reset, pick up the green mystery data on a specific frame, which is associated with a specific RNG value, which is associated with a specific drop. So we can get a lot of Zenny early on, which lets us buy, in particular, HP memories, because in this game, your ability to run from random encounters, you get random encounters as you walk around. Won't go into details on specifically how that works, but you can run from them based off of your maximum base HP. So not your current HP, and then there are other ways to modify it, but buying these HP memories will essentially put you above. Every battle's got a threshold, and once you have enough HP, you can run from either the first attempt or the second attempt.
Did you skip the third encounter?
Yes. Yes,
Very
I did.
nice.
Nice.
That's why I didn't grab Longsword just
Yeah,
yet.
yeah, yeah.
It's supposed to be random, but it's actually improperly coded, so it's not random.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah. As Smog mentioned, there's actually a mystery data that I need to go grab. There are 2 kinds, the green ones that are random, like Tara was just talking about, and then blue and technically purple that have fixed rewards. I need to go grab it now. It is
Right
actually
now, that's a
story
good idea.
required. But I could have grabbed it a little bit earlier. The reason I didn't actually is because I knew, based on how far I had gotten before I'd gotten an encounter, that if I went to the next place I had to go story-wise, I could actually skip a random encounter.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
one cool point about how random encounters work with the steps is that every area has an encounter curve, so a rate at which your chance of getting an encounter increases. These internet areas are encounter curve 6, and so you can move actually pretty much 900 steps, which is half as many frames because we're running at 2 steps per frame. And so Rich knows about how far that is, and so he's like, oh, I could make it back to the square without getting, or unlikely to get, an additional encounter. So that's cool.
Yeah. And each encounter, if you first turn run from it, takes about 8 seconds. So, definitely adds up over the course of the whole run to be able to skip a few encounters here and there.
I'm also trying my hardest to get a gold split right now, so
Oh yeah, it's true. He did get triple frame perfect.
yep. It actually,
quintuple.
I'm pretty sure it's guaranteed at this point, so even if I don't,
Something that I
even
got.
with this encounter.
As we mentioned, your ability to run on the first turn is based on your maximum base HP. You're able to first turn run from the first 2 areas, and it was just that third area where the warp was to the square that has a higher threshold of 140. And so Rish being able to get the 2 HP memories due to the double frame perfect trick or triple.
Yes,
Triple
triple.
There's at
Triple
least 4
triple.
frame perfect inputs. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I lost count.
Being able to get the 2 HP memories made it so that by the first time that he went into that area, he could already first turn run. Otherwise, it definitely spends more than 8 seconds if you have to do a second turn run.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he didn't get enough Zenny by early bubbler, so he can't do the cool new route that he doesn't know yet.
Shoutouts to Tara for rewriting this game for the upteenth time.
But it'll be done one day.
Spooky, no music.
AC/DC Town. At night. Very good. So if we want to get into a little bit of plot, basically the whole first split was the N1 tournament preliminaries, which is going to be sort of a recurring thing throughout the first half of the game. And then this part of the game, we're getting into the sort of first dungeon where one of Lan's friends, Dex, forgot his homework at school. So instead of just taking the punishment, what they're going to do is break into the school, get Dex's homework, and then hopefully nothing bad happens.
That's been counter skill.
Yeah, we skipped both so far.
So that big thing was just the key for the school gate. Apparently it's just out in the open in the internet. And now we're in the school.
Even though it wasn't there earlier today.
Yeah.
They bring it out.
The gate was open.
Yeah.
Exactly. So here we pick up Dex's homework. This is just sort of nice overworld stuff. And hopefully nothing bad happens while we go back home. No, we heard something.
Spooky.
So, of course, we're going to go investigate. And, there's some cutscenes that are really great, but I think we're probably going to skip them to go fast.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what happened is Lan's friends get hypnotized by a mysterious burglar.
I'll save
Before we go save them, we're going to go grab some things. This in particular is a blue mystery data containing the chip Rock Cube Star. So star-coded, asterisk, same thing, and also an HP memory. And if you're at all familiar with Battle Network, you might wonder why we want Rock Cube, and it'll become apparent very soon.
Very soon.
Very, very soon. It's a very good chip, early on especially.
I will save actually watching all of the cool cutscenes for the actual marathon, so don't worry.
All right. Sounds good. Today we go fast.
Yes.
Not even the one?
It depends on the pace of the run. I'll put it that way.
I
That's
accept
fair.
that. I accept that.
At this point, I haven't hit the triple frame perfect in I don't know how long, so like the fact I have a run where I hit it is kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
So, here's our first sort of dungeon area. It's the principal of the school, their PC, their laptop. And so, unfortunately, because it's nighttime, all of the lights in this area are turned off. So Lan has to go find the correct light switch corresponding to this area in the real world so that we can actually see where we're going on the internet. Battle Network always had sort of some fun little interactions between the real world and the internet areas. And so this is just one such example. Also, just as a disclaimer, we'll probably be saying either areas or comps a lot. And that's just meaning when we talk about a comp, we usually mean like a one map or a specific jack-in point where on the overworld Lan jacks in and you're able to control Mega Man. So, for example, this is the principal PC comp, Area 1.
Yes, so this particular area has a lot of good stuff that we can grab, as well as some keys that we need to grab anyway to progress through the area. Specifically, I'm grabbing some Zenny that we'll be needing for the early parts of the run, a couple chips to improve my folder flow, and obviously the keys. So.
And you'll also notice we're avoiding a lot of other blue mystery data because one of the gimmicks of this dungeon is that a bunch of the blue mystery data are actually virus traps. So you talk to them and then you get attacked by a virus, and it's usually not a huge deal. We can just run away from them. But luckily for us, it's always the same blue mystery data. So we just know to avoid certain ones.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, now we gotta go to another area, turn on the lights so that the lights in the internet at least flicker. Wonder why it works like that specifically, but... Here we get another HP memory as well.
We're at 180. And so you might have noticed as the run keeps on going, that any random encounter we get, we just run from them. Even if we had like a perfect draw in one of these encounters, it would be slower than just running because then there's a reward screen after you defeat the viruses and et cetera, et cetera.
We're coming up to the first boss, and Rish is going to do something that might not make sense at first. We're going to do particular movements to stop in a region, an area, not a specific spot. That's a fixed distance from where we know Flashman is, first boss. And Rish is then going to do a folder edit. Now, we do want to do a folder edit because he's got a lot of good chips, and we need to put them into the folder, but he's also going to do a very specific folder edit so they end up in certain locations. And then he's going to reset, which I sort of mentioned earlier, but I'll just let you see what happens as a result.
Mm-hmm. Manip edits are probably the best part of BN 1 through 3 runs.
So you started doing that edit, and I'm like, hold on, this isn't... Oh, wait, yeah. Wow, what a lucky draw.
Very nice
Into
draw.
the middle. So
There's
that
a rock cube.
rock shot.
Rock shot. So that was Flashman.
He doesn't have attacks, much like many bosses won't.
That line's great. In English, it's just, you disappointed me, Flashman.
So does anyone want to explain what happened?
Do you want to, or I can?
I mean, Tara, you did
do it.
Tara, you did come up with that edit. I don't know.
It is true.
Essentially, the way that we basically are folder stacking. It's just like stacking the deck. Maybe we've not mentioned it specifically if you're not familiar with Battle Network, but all of these battle chips, these special abilities, are kind of like cards, and we've got a folder of 30. And whenever you get into a fight at all, it shuffles them, and it shuffles them 30 times. So it picks 2 random numbers and it swaps them. But because we know exactly how the random number generator works, we can know how the deck is going to get shuffled, and Rish can put the chips that he wants to draw in the order he wants to draw them. You forgot to... good luck on
Rish.
Customer.
Rish.
Don't worry about it.
So
Don't worry about it.
he can...
What are you doing?
We're recording
Oh
a
my
submission
God.
video.
Oh, and okay.
You even had triple frame first.
It's okay, don't
we'll
worry
just-
about it.
We'll
That
write
fight
that
doesn't
one off.
count.
Everybody gets one.
True.
Only one.
Only one death.
So for folder stacking, Rish knows how the game is going to shuffle it, so he can put those chips in the slots that he wants to draw. And so for Flashman, he's got 300 health. We can do Longsword for 80 damage, Air Shot, Rock Shot for 220 damage. Rock Shot, the collision damage does 200, so it's perfect fight.
Not gonna lie, you guys yelling at me made me think I was actually making a mistake for a brief second there. I was just like, what
Yeah.
could I have
For the
possibly
record,
forgotten?
That Gutsman fight is sort of the second version of Gutsman. He has 700 HP, which is quite a lot for this part of the game. So instead of actually doing the fight, we don't game over, and the story continues if we lose. So, you know,
Yeah, it's just
we
faster.
take a loss here and there.
It's
Mo,
just
you gonna
faster.
call him out for not doing the cool movement?
Rish has mentioned already that
I have to
know,
learn it, and it takes
he has
time
to
for
learn
very...
it, and
Oh,
it's
what?
effort.
You know what?
Easy.
This is reminding me exactly of door skip.
Yeah,
This is true.
except door skip actually
It's
saves
free.
time. And
And
is
it's
free.
also free. I mean, to be fair, this movement is also free, but that's fine. So here we're going into a whole new internet area, taking the Cyber Metro, and this is the Scilab area, which was actually the area we visited in the real world a second ago with Lan. Here's a new Cyber Square, where we're going to buy some HP memories to get up
Oh.
to 200, which
So
is the threshold for running in this area.
yeah, this is the first example of a gauntlet. And so there's been random encounters, but sometimes they're in a series, so that's called a gauntlet. Rish is going to do another hard reset here and use a visual cue with the background so that he can start the fight within a particular range. And then he's going to draw more or less what he wants, but the way this game shuffling works is it effectively has what we call parity, but there's basically two different shuffles happening kind of simultaneously, and it's alternating every other frame. So if Rish can tell if he's on, say, an even frame or an odd frame, he can fix it in between the fights effectively. And so that way we only have to worry about one of the shuffles instead of two, which makes it much easier to route around. Because those fights, seeing them done with Manip, yeah, it just works out so perfectly because given how sort of poor our folder is at this point, it's your draws on average are going to be much worse than that, and so fights will take 2 or 3 turns, which Rish might actually demonstrate because for this next fight, he's not going to specifically manip it. He might.
He's going to be looking for a couple specific draws.
So what I will also mention is the reason that parity is a problem is, unlike Flashman, we can actually buffer our movement into Flashman and enter on a very particular frame every single time because the movement is buffered, skipping the cutscene is buffered. However, text boxes are a little harder to buffer when you have to mash through them, or at the very least, press A to start the text box sequence. So that's
how Mr. Triple Frame Perfect here is complaining about not being able to hit a specific.
I'm just saying that's the reason that parity becomes a problem.
Yes. Unbufferable setups.
Yes. And so, because of the text box, you have to deal with whether or not you hit an even or an odd frame. Here we go.
So this is Evil Incarnate. These are rats, ratty please, if you will.
Era has a long history with these guys.
I do. I think most runners do, but I guess I have a particular highlight of it. Has not been demonstrated, probably won't be, but if you get these rats to like half health, they get angry and they move a little bit faster and they attack a little bit faster. They move 4 times and then attack. Is that right?
6. This particular version moves 6. Later variants will move less before attacking, and they even move faster. But
yep, and so they move randomly. Their attack is a projectile which will block your attacks. A lot of our stronger stuff is short range, as you saw with the sword. So it's a fight that can go poorly if you don't draw like just the perfect chip.
Yes, there are 4 chips in my folder right now that, if executed properly, would have instantly deleted those ratties. I would have saved something like 20-30 seconds, but never lucky. I'm gonna do something real quick.
Yeah. Having to do a folder edit. Wow.
Shh. Tara says this after literally routing this for me.
So you might have seen some of these chips in the last gauntlet as well, but some particular chips that we're taking advantage of are things like copy damage, attack plus 10. So here we have Wide Sword, which does 80 plus 10, does 90. Beautiful. The virus in the back, that Hardhead is called, has 80 HP. Has a shield, but that copy damage chip that did the red circle means that any damage that happens to other viruses would also happen to it. And it just so happens to go through shields. Here we get copy damage again.
What a good fight. Oh, and Rock Cube does collision. Rock Cube does collision damage. Normally you have to use an air shot to push it onto something, but if Rock Cube occupies a space that an enemy moves back into, collision damage still happens. This works for fishies and can work also for Beastman.
Yes, it's very fun to do with Beastman.
And so that was the second round of the N1 tournament, the N1 Grand Prix tournament preliminaries. We'll have even more of that in a second. But for now, we're going on a school trip to the zoo.
Indeed.
Does anyone here like the zoo?
I have actually not been to one ever that I remember. If I ever went to a zoo, it was at a very, very young age.
Very young age. Well, mysteriously, Land's class gets to the zoo, and even though they were supposed to be opened, they were closed. So we're just taking the day off, going to see what's up in this new area called Yoka, and just investigating this very important gate for no reason.
Yep.
It's a nice fence.
Very nice.
Fence. It'd be a shame if anything were to happen to it.
And here is now the first instance of the Navi-Cust mechanic. Oops.
Don't soft lock.
You think I'm gonna
Only mash B. Only mash B. Hey, you wouldn't be the first person. The Navi-Cust was introduced in 3, and it's got program parts and plus parts. Program parts need to go on the command line and give you different effects, like we have Undershirt here, which means if Rish would to take a fatal hit, he'll instead survive with 1 HP. It's a short-lived benefit because we'll quickly be replacing it. And then the plus parts give us attack +1, so the lemons now do 2 damage instead of 1. Not that we use them too much, as well as speed +1, but very occasionally maybe you'll see Rish do some buffered movement while firing the Buster. That actually works out being faster than standing still. So speed +1 almost doesn't do anything.
At this point in the game, we have to talk to every animal in the zoo, especially Dex. But yeah, that is the
Shoutouts.
flag to actually progress the story here.
Dex
the
counts
panda.
as a party animal.
Thank you, Swag.
Shout out to the panda.
I was trying to swag talk to it and couldn't do it.
It's okay, we got to see it itch its bum.
Yep.
The panda's cute.
That was the real plan.
Shout out to
And
the
so,
vulture.
You know, as it seems, I am the... Oh, no, the gate! The fence! No!
It was
Rip.
so nice.
It was so good. Anyway, the animals have gone crazy. There's just, you know, Mamoru's mom fighting the snake. Some flamingos that... you talk to that girl, I think she's like... In English, she says something like, what can a flamingo really do? Or something like that. Like, is there anything to be worried about?
Yeah, she says, even if it went crazy, how much damage could
Yeah.
a flamingo really do? There's some good lore. You learned lots playing Battle Network, especially about animals.
And once again, shout outs to the panda for not going crazy. It's just chilling still.
Are we skipping the BMD?
Absolutely. You don't need it. Yeah. I already got the extra 1,000 Zenny technically from random sources too, so I can skip computer comp later on.
Perfect.
Oh.
So there's several, like the Zenny route in this game is very specific and kind of tight up until about an hour and a half into the run, at which point becomes inconsequential. But up until then, we are very aware of how much Zenny we have and all of the sources that can give us a little bit extra. Like that one contains 1,000 Zenny, but it's slow to pick up and you get an extra random encounter. So being able to skip it because we got good Zenny from like GMDs is very nice.
Yeah. Luckily, I think the Zenny route works out nowadays that I never have to grab that one specifically, and I'll just always skip it because I just buy the last HP memory necessary after,
Bubble Man.
yeah,
That's a good change.
after getting
know, the funny-
that 2K Zenny, yeah.
The funny thing is, I think the only reason that was not done previously, well, there's probably several, but the main one is because I wanted to hit 320 HP before going through Scilab area so I could sneak run. Specifically that. If
Interesting.
anyone else had routed the game, it might not have been that way.
Yep. But anyway, I guess we can talk about the zoo comp mechanics, which
Zoo
luckily
comp.
is pretty easy. I can even explain it while I'm doing it. Basically,
Second dungeon in the game.
true. Basically, there are these viruses in the way, and they are mimicking a certain animal or just obstacle in general that is in your
Object.
way. Some type of object, yeah.
Wait. Smart. Banana.
No. For example, this virus right here is a hungry gorilla, if I recall correctly, hungry monkey. And you grab this Mr. Prog, the green guys. that is a banana type program. And so we're just making a reference to what it says in English. It just goes banana na 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 na.
Yep.
And
That's in Japanese.
did it as well? Okay. I didn't pay attention. You you just introduce the matching Mr. Prog to the viruses in the overworld, and a lot of the time you'll have a little text box that says something like, "The virus ate until it exploded," or something like that, and then they clear the way. Or, this virus was overjoyed by insert the blank.
That
fill
was
in the blank.
That was what I was gonna mention. The overjoyed one.
Yeah. For example, this one's
Tree and
I think
Beaver.
it's Tree and Beaver. Yeah.
There's some interesting ones that make plenty of sense, and then there's some odd ones that are just like, okay, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Why not? Yeah, is the Octopus and Jar one coming up? It's like after this, right?
Yeah, I think it's the last one in this area.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, we have Cobra and Mongoose coming up, and then the Octopus in the jar.
We unfortunately haven't had a good opportunity to showcase it. But one thing that does happen when you interact with a prog and ask it to follow you is it resets your step counter for whatever reason. And so sometimes, if you haven't gotten an encounter, you can talk to a prog, whatever the closest prog is, to grab it, to reset your step counter, to skip an encounter. Which hopefully we won't go out of our way to do it in Comp 4, but hopefully we can use that to our advantage coming up. There's a few places that it can be utilized, but I just haven't gotten a good opportunity to do it, unfortunately.
That Matar just called you a jerk.
But yeah, it's good that Rish mentioned it, because you will notice we go quite a bit walking without getting an encounter, and that's just because we have the whole gimmick routed in. And so picking up the prog previously reset his step counter, having the Metar virus explode also resets your step counter. And so we get through all of this. Right now our step counter was 0 after those Metars exploded, and now we go up to here. Here we have a chance for an encounter, and hopefully we don't get it before we're able to pick up the Mr. Prog.
Yep.
There we go. And so this step
80%.
resets our step counter,
80%.
and we just don't get an encounter in this area. It's easy.
Yep, so that's why, despite these comps actually seemingly being rather long and windy, we actually only got two encounters in Area 1, one encounter in Area 2, and 3 each. So a total of 4 encounters throughout this entire comp.
Nice corner.
Thank you. Timed it very well. Alright, let's see if I can get
A good pattern.
Yes, a good pattern. I almost held B there. It's important to not hold B for that one.
Yeah, unfortunate. Well, for now, I fixed it.
Thank you. Oh, I forgot to actually attack him.
So Beastman is super annoying casually, like when you're trying to learn. But once you realize he's got a pretty consistent pattern, he's not so bad. He will move up to 6 times and then do a dash attack. And where he starts his dash attack from depends on where you're standing. So Rich is going to stay in the middle, so that way it's obvious whenever he does his dash attack. At any point, he may choose to do a jump slash, where he will jump up, a shadow will appear in your area, and then he'll land and swipe at you. And so Rich is just sort of counting his movements and watching for shadows, hitting him with the swords, and then he's at 250 HP, which is exactly half, so he won't do his desperation attack. And then we follow it up with a stun lock 250 damage rock shot combo.
Nice draw.
And he's dead. That's Beastman.
I will say it. Thank you for the Prime Gaming, by the way, Omnipotent. I know that this is a submission video, but I do still want to thank supporters and whatnot.
Coming up, we gotta go. So we want to do something fun, but all of our friends are busy, so we have to go work for Higsby instead, because that's how we spend our free time. Along the way, we're gonna get a couple cool things, including we're gonna use knowledge of the future to correctly guess a bunch of lotto codes and get some cool free stuff.
Yes, that is correct. But first, I need to get this HP memory.
Yes, very important. HP. Honestly, imagine not being able to run and sneak around in this game. It'd be like twice as long.
It would be.
All right, this is where I need everyone in the audience to start shouting out random numbers. My favorite is 6399782 That one's actually valid though.
Going to the future a little, we get 1979-0420. That's a very important one.
Very important, can confirm.
Excellent year. $1997 was also a good year.
It really was. Which one am I doing?
Ooh, Muramasa. That's a mega chip. So the blue ones are mega chips. You can only have 5 in the folder. We don't ever cross that threshold since we're not doing Master Style, which is a very powerful program advance that is highly recommended for new runners. You can get around that pretty easily with a very powerful Var Sword combo that you're going to see a lot of later on. But before that, Master Style does 900 damage, and it can't, well, I'd say it can't miss, but we've been proved wrong before.
Yep.
We sure have.
It's a good combo. It's a program advance. I don't know that you're gonna necessarily see any of those in this run.
We have a very small chance.
Oh yeah, that's true. The chips we're collecting here, most of them are just powerful.
Var Sword.
Or it's a star coded. So it's like the star coded ones add some versatility to the folder, and they help with folder flow. So since Rish, it's like we can RNG manipulate every fight in the game, but because folder stacking does take a little bit of setup, ideally you'll just, as Rish likes to say, get lucky, and then it's faster to not have to reset in the first place.
Yeah.
As you
Especially
get
for single fights.
Yeah. As you get further and further into the game, your folder gets better and better, basically as we acquire more and more Var Swords. But, so when you start getting later into the game, the draws that you want to see basically become Var Sword, or like single chips, versus the Beastman draw, for example, was a 9-chip combo that specifically did just enough damage to win.
Yeah.
So that's why it becomes less important later on.
Oh, this is your new setup.
Yep.
Well, sort of.
That one goes there, that one goes there, and that. That is all.
It's okay.
That's good. Perfect.
Ooh. Did he get the chip? Will he get the chip? Will he get the chip, chat? Oh, birthday! Easy every time.
Every time.
303, that's a good
All right,
number.
now
That's,
I feel like I can talk again. There's always the period from like Beastman to Windstar where I'm just like, you know, you got Beastman, then you have Lotto codes, then you have Windstar, and it's like, oh, so much.
So that was the first instance of a random encounter manipulation, which is a bit more involved. Smog, do you want to try and explain that one?
Sure. So as did you mention earlier that there are 2 RNG indexes?
2 random number generators,
2 random
one
number
off the
generators.
soft reset. Yep. Carry on.
So in this game they usually having 2 random number generators means that each one can handle sort of different tasks in the game. And so, for example, in this game in particular, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, one of them handles when you get an encounter, and the other one handles which encounter you get.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. So luckily for us, doing a hard reset resets both of them to a known position. One of them does start advancing after you hit continue, so it's bufferable. The other one starts advancing during the title screen, so we have to have a specific sort of combination of a visual and audio cue in the title screen to sort of hit a window, more or less. And so after, just a lot of hard science and looking at RNG indexes and numbers and tables, we found a nice window. How big is it again, Rish?
I should have taken that last chip. It is
It's
6 frames, technically 7 if you really wanted to do 8 buster shots.
Sure. And so there's the title screen window, and then doing some specific movement after doing specific. We do specific movement to get a certain step counter, and then we do a hard reset, do an audio cue on the title screen, and hopefully we hit a window to get an encounter at the right moment to get a specific group of viruses, which was the Boomer and the Windbox. And then because we manipulated for the encounter, we can also get a specific draw. In this case, it was Step Cross, which we got from the Lotto codes. We were able to double delete the viruses, and we are able to do the fight in such a way that we're also able to manipulate what reward we get by doing a specific number of buster shots to the gear in the middle of the battle. It's a little complicated, but we make it work.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'd almost say it's the most complicated manip. Ice Ball still sort of beats it, but because of the fact that we need to get a specific reward, and there's 2 viruses, and the Windbox advances the RNG responsible for which reward you get once every 13 frames. So we have a very small window to get the outcome we want.
Oops. Yeah, thank you. I started going the wrong way because I started thinking about the fact Smog mentioning the draw that I got was making me think about whether or not that counted as a custom or a bug point. Which, funnily enough, because I didn't have anything bugged, actually just always counts as a custom point, pretty much.
I know, it's so nice throughout now. It's like we get 3 custom points. No more. So there's a style change coming up later on, and it was introduced in Battle Network 2. The element is random, but it is determined at the start of the game, which Rish mentioned when he first started and picked continue, or new game. The other aspect is it uses a point system, and every fight that gives you a reward on the reward screen, it will decide how you did the fights and which style is most appropriate for you, and will give you 1 point towards that. Most of our fights now are custom, so we're likely to get custom style. There's a couple other styles that could be good in the run. There are many more that are bad for the run. And one that we got to watch out for is bug style, but because of how we've redone the Navitas, that it's no longer an issue. Now we got a fixed folder, so who's going to talk about that?
Imagine Smog can while I try to remember how to actually do these fights. Unless Smog is...
Sure, I can talk about it. So right now we have a thing called an extra folder, and basically what that means is it's a folder that we can't edit.
Oh.
We have a bunch of predetermined chips in a predetermined position in the folder, which I'll explain in a second why that's important. So, basically it's just a plot point in the game where they were like, you have to do these specific fights with this folder that we have decided. Luckily for us, it's actually not terrible. And a bunch of different players, specifically a player by the name of Terragoomba, or Jagoomba, either works. Has come up with, Kuribo in Japanese, has come up with a bunch of cool setups for these fixed fights. Since they're always the same viruses and we're doing it with always the exact same folder, there are a lot of easy ways to sort of flowchart it. So it's like, if I see this draw, this is what I do. If I see this draw, this is what I do. And there's also this cool thing that has happened with the Navi customizer. You might be seeing a shield pop up every once in a while, and that's due to a bug. Tara, do you want to explain that?
Yep. So in the last NaviCust edit we did, there are certain rules that you're supposed to follow. If you break a rule, you get a side effect. And the side effects can be negative, but they can also be beneficial. Rish put one of the Buster Plus parts on the command line, and it was the same color, pink, touching another one. So that counts as effectively like 3 bugs, 2 or 3 bugs. And that adds up to give us, it replaces our regular Buster shot. So it's like, oh no, we don't have a Buster. Instead, it's this shield, but this shield also blocks attacks and sends out a counter shockwave, which does 40 damage. And we have 15 uses of that per fight. And that just, compared to a 2 damage Buster, is kind of an upgrade.
Very much so. The only downside is that we do have to wait for an enemy attack to reflect it. But for the most part, compared to waiting for the custom bar at the top to fill up and get new chips, it's very good. Even with all of that, some of these fights are a little rough. Not rough in that they're really scary, but just that they can, if you get a bad draw, it can take a little bit of time.
Yeah,
Becky fight's the worst one.
That fight is really difficult because it has 140 health that you have to deal with, which is really difficult unless there's one particular chip in your folder that does 130 damage, which would be really nice to see, but I didn't, unfortunately.
I was watching Goomba's single segment run, and on that fight, he just top decks Lance plus 10.
Yep.
They move once, they all die.
I saw Rish do that.
That happened to me in a race very recently. Yeah. So they just.
It was very good.
It happens.
Yeah. It was just basically they moved once, you pressed A, and the fight was over.
The frustrating thing is I have a manip set up for that, and he just gets it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys, and you just get lucky strats.
That's the problem with manipping single fights. For like just a singular fight for 1 or 2 chips, unfortunately, is that it's not unreasonable to get that particular draw naturally.
Yeah. And so here we're gonna do actually a gauntlet with the same fixed folder, which usually would be, we like manipping gauntlets early on, but this folder and the fact that we have the Buster Guard bugged actually gives us a lot of good options.
Yeah. The other unfortunate thing is that because it's fixed, we can't swap the slots. Manipping it becomes a little more difficult because we can't move stuff where we want them to be. Didn't get it. Oh, you moved back there. Cool reaction time from me there. Alright.
Unfortunately, shockwaves require ground to travel on, and that panel is broken.
Yeah. Annoying draw, but
yeah, it's definitely unfortunate. Very nice. And so another thing to note about chips in your folder is that you might think, if you're not doing an RNG manip, then every chip for the most part is equally likely to show up. However, that is definitely not the case, as the way that the shuffle algorithm was implemented in the game has a few quirks here and there. For example, every chip in the folder is more likely to remain in its spot after it's been shuffled, so in a battle, let's say. That is to say, the chip that is third in your folder is most likely to be the third chip you see in a fight.
yes.
And so the nice thing is, for example, the top 5 chips in our folder are more likely to be the 5 chips we see at the beginning of a fight. The one caveat is that there is this thing called a regular chip, which you might see during a folder edit, has sort of a red highlight around it, a reminder to swap your folder and read an email.
Absolutely. Oops.
And that one always shows up first. However, we can't just set any chip as a regular chip. There's another resource called megabytes, which we can collect through the game. Blue Mystery Data, sometimes people give them to us. And we have to have enough megabytes to reg a certain, any given chip. Every chip has a megabyte value that you need to have the resource to actually be able to set it as your regular chip.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a regular chip, that means that instead of having the top 5 chips, you actually want slots 2 through 5, or soon 2 through 6 will be good for us.
Yes. Yes.
You read the email when you do the Navicast?
Yes. Correct.
Nice.
Because you're already holding, like, that's one of the
Yeah.
minor things that I try to implement whenever possible. Is we can talk about movement in a second, but basically doing a menu when you're turning to save exactly 1 frame, and when you're holding down or up, that way you can start menuing down or up directly to whatever submenu you need to go to.
Yep.
A quick thing about this area is that every green mystery data in this area only contains Zenny. Minimum 1,000, maximum 3,500. That used to be, very nice, because,
I was gonna say, do we care?
These
Not
days,
anymore.
that
not
one
important.
was almost, that green mystery data was almost directly in your way, and you're like, nah, not for me.
Part of the problem is they can also be viruses at this point. Ooh, copy damage hero sword.
Yes.
Very good.
Viruses in BN3 are semi-random, so we kind of know who's going to move first. It's kind of a spawn order thing. Who's going to get blocked, and the timing. Their attacks are random, but they'll at least move once, so that works out. Shout outs to Beardman.
Here he is.
Man.
And he's gone.
Yeah, it's all good. So this is the Bubble Man scenario. Basically, Land's neighbor and friend Mail
Going to
and his
Yai.
teacher, Miss Mari, have been trapped in super tough exploding bubbles that are going to explode.
Indestructible exploding bubbles.
Yeah.
Color changing exploding bubbles.
Yes.
Precisely. And so the only way to get rid of the bubbles without having them explode is by defeating Bubble Man. Unfortunately for us, he's a bit of a coward, so he's running away. He won't just fight us, and so we're giving chase.
Should have already done the edit, but I can do it right now.
I like to do the press edit when I get to Yoka to remind me to get the HP.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a couple like mystery data we have to get. It's you end up revisiting certain areas more than others, and Yoka here is one of them. So one of those visits is different than the others, and this is that visit.
Correct. We just put a new Navigos program that we got from Beardman.
Tiny Mega Man.
Yes. Basically, it is called Press, and it allows us to go over these tiny paths by compressing Mega Man into a smaller size so that he can walk around on them safely. And that allows us to access new areas of the internet. Yoka is, I believe, the first one that starts to introduce these smaller paths. I don't think there's any
It is.
elsewhere. So we were previously blocked from chasing after Bubble Man because of one of these tiny paths, but now we can cross it no problem.
Megaman.exe became Megaman.zip.
Nice.
And I believe the reason why Bubble Man could go over these small paths without being compressed is because he's light as foam,
Yes.
or something like that.
That, I believe,
that
is
makes
the story.
Perfect sense in our game.
BN
as Cyberpunk.
is well known for having infallible logic.
Yeah, can confirm. Can confirm.
So now we
And
find
good music.
Yes, it does have some phenomenal music. But now we've chased him, and he just puts up a bubble in our way. So
Now, Tara, how do you pop a bubble?
That's a good question.
I think you need like a high-powered shotgun.
High-powered shotgun.
Yeah.
I think all we need, and hear me out, is a needle. What do you
That'll never work.
No? All right. Well, I hope one of these guys has a needle. Maybe we can try it out.
Oh. So you get the swing and a
tried.
miss.
I tried.
Yeah,
Style change.
It's funny. The ice physics apply to viruses as well. So Matar is just like, I can't catch him.
Yo, Elec Custom.
What are the odds?
Who would have thunk?
Who would have guessed? So yes, as we've discussed a couple of times, the element we get was manipulated at the start. I hit a nice 3-frame window right at the beginning of the run. There's technically larger windows, but that's the one that works best for me. And the actual style I got, custom, is based on how I've been playing. Basically, it boiled down to I picked a lot of chips in a lot of fights.
And the only fights that count, I forget if this was mentioned earlier, are ones that have a reward screen. So for us in this particular route, that's a total of 4 fights. The Flashman fight, the first boss, had a reward screen. The Beastman fight, the second boss, had a reward screen. The Windstar, which was the one that we manipulated for, that one had a reward screen. And then the actual fight where we got our style change had a reward screen. And because the first 3 are manipulated, we know exactly what our draw is going to be, which means we know what style points we're going to be, and 3 points to whatever the last one was, we're going to get custom. The nice thing about custom, you'll notice immediately, is that we start off a fight being able to select from 6 chips. So basically. Easy. We get, what is that? That's math. A 5th of our folder? No, is it?
What, 6 chips?
Yeah.
It's a 5th of our folder, yes.
Oh, let's go. Sorry, I can't math right now. It's been a long day.
One of the other nice things that unfortunately I didn't abuse there about custom style is you're actually guaranteed certain rewards at it's not shown, but there's a separate ranking system called S plus and S plus plus based on if you do the fight super well. But
yeah,
the reward screen doesn't really show you that. But basically, if I can do that fight with an S rank and I don't use my buster, I would actually have guaranteed gotten the chip drop there, Heat B. Luckily, I won the 50-50 anyway, because I actually really need that fire chip for a later point in the run. But yeah. That is another mechanic that is beneficial for custom, but it only really matters on that particular fight in the any percent run anyway.
I'm excited to see Bubble Man, because, anyone out there in the world who might have played Battle Network 3 as a kid, you probably remember Bubble Man if you got this far. Definitely, I would say, one of the least liked bosses in this game. And probably the whole series, to be honest. And so, hopefully, do you always do one or the other for Bubble Man?
He yellows it, we'll see what we get, and then
yes, it's like one or the other.
Well, the rat took the hit. What a champ.
Yeah.
Fun fact, his Churcha did double damage because he was on an ice panel, and even then, it was still only 40.
Elec, unfortunately, has the worst buster of all of the style chain, or the elements.
Did you just get a needle to pop that bubble?
Yes, I did.
Very good. I told you it would work. But yeah.
Color
Elec style also gives us access to this chip that you might have seen this S with the lightning bolt and a bunch of draws. It's called Bolt, and it's a chip that you can only use if you're Elect style. There are also corresponding chips for all the other elements, but Bolt is pretty good. Hopefully we get to see it right now.
How did I manage to go that far down? So I actually like to not do a full manip at first. Try and get a particularly good draw for that fight. But if I don't get anything first turn, I just do the typical hard reset and
Buffered movement into the fight.
yep, where we get this very nice chip where all I have to do is press A.
And that's Bubble Man. And also that's Bolt. Tara, how does Bolt work?
No one knows.
No one knows. Very
It just
good.
kills stuff.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, it kills Bubbleman V2, Alpha sometimes, and one fight in the Stuntman Gauntlet, but that's it.
Very
It
good.
also
the
does
Summoning Gauntlet
damage.
one is really good.
Excuse me, it does damage to Desert Man, okay?
It does.
Oh.
It does. That is true.
I guess.
It's not trivial.
Well, sometimes.
Sometimes.
He
We don't-
is just ground after all, so
True.
it shouldn't really.
Yeah.
Internet logic, right?
I can't believe that it works on a ground type enemy. So, this is our first instance of a purple mystery data. We'll see it one more time throughout the run. But basically, those are locked mystery data and require an item known as an unlocker in order to actually access the rewards, which I got an unlocker earlier through lotto codes. Specifically so I could grab that one, which is an HP memory, which allows me to first turn run from an upcoming area. Also, don't mind me. I'm remembering to buy the HP memory, but forgetting to talk to Glide.
It's just Glide.
Good. Good thing you mentioned sneak run as well, because you might notice we're not getting any encounters in this area anymore,
Yes.
and we have an HP threshold to be able to run for the run from a fight on our first turn. HP memory. Oh, you're getting it. Yeah. It's in the square. True.
Yep.
True.
It is the square
um,
one, yes.
This is true. And then there's also a higher threshold to be able to do this thing called sneak running, which is basically sort of like, you avoid all encounters in an area. And so that's why the threshold is higher, because you just don't even get them. There's this thing called a sub-chip that you can use to sneak run, and eventually sneak run expires. But there's also a Navi customizer program that Rish actually has installed right now. If next time he opens his Navicust, you'll see it's a big yellow square, and it's basically just permanent sneak run as long as it's in there. And so that's how we're not getting any encounters right now. We get to jam out to this lovely internet theme
Until we get to Yoka.
until we get to Yoga. And now the threshold, what is it here? Is it 340 or 360, something like that?
I think it's 3.
Sounds like 360, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 360.
One or the other. And so we don't quite reach it yet, so we get one encounter in this area usually.
Yep.
And that's about it.
We have to come through it
And one on the way
and
back.
go all
Yeah.
the way back. Yeah. Fun little fact about the email submenu. It is equally fast to go to it, whether you're holding up or down, although I missed it that time.
That's good to know. I'd always kind of wondered that and been too lazy to check.
It is exactly 4 menus
middle.
down and 4 menus up. Right in
Very
the middle.
nice. And so now we got an email attachment containing a cyber metro pass to go to the beach area. You'll notice a little bit of inconsistency in the series with what can or cannot be attached to an email, but that's for another day.
True.
But for now, we get to go to a new area, and there is an encounter that we're actually looking for that we can either get lucky, fairly likely, or there is also an encounter manipulation that we can do as well
Yeah.
if we don't get lucky in time.
Well, you got lucky.
First try.
And then because we have Buster Guard, it doesn't even matter what chips you draw.
Yep.
You can still clear the fight.
Let's go. So that ship is Yo-Yo 1 in the G code, and it is our third story required chip. These are chips that like an NPC will ask for to progress the story. Third of 4.
Yep. So that one, there's a really nice manip that's very easy to perform. Shoutouts to Terra for coming up with it recently. But it's typically done as a backup as you're leaving this area. You get 3 encounters on the way to the square that we're going to right now, where you're praying to get it, and then if you don't get it, you just do the manip as a nice little backup.
Yep. This one's fairly reasonable to get lucky and just get the encounter, unlike the final story required chip. Now, there's a shop in this square which sells Navi customizer programs. One of them is a program called Fish. Costs 8,000 Zenny, and basically what it does is it makes it so that if there is a virus in the area that you're in that is water type, you will only get encounters with a water type virus in it. That becomes usually pretty important in like a casual playthrough, and we'll explain why soon. But I just wanted to put it out there that in that square there is that program.
Do you know how confusion works in 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does he?
Having done runs with Bug Style, I'm very well aware of
that's
how
true,
it
that's
works.
Very good. Bug style is scary in a speedrun.
The
It
way-
works. It works differently in 3 compared to in 4.
5,
They
and
changed
6.
how it works, and then they stayed with it. In 3, it's just awful.
Yeah.
Just awful.
For no
It's
reason.
a random direction that you
Yeah.
didn't press.
Yes. Get down.
These are
Very,
some
very,
draws.
very good draws right now. Very good draws.
It's like, so you've seen it a couple times. We've got Varsword and Step Cross, and those chips by themselves will clear most of these fights. So we just want to see something.
Let's see what we can do here. Unlucky. I should have waited, but they can line up actually.
Tubi, there's no way you can win this fight. You should just run.
Really should.
If only viruses could run away.
Determined.
I mean, there is one that can.
Oh yeah. Not in this game,
Putting it
right?
out there.
But
well, he's
Not in this game.
but
not in
it
this
is
game.
on the screen right now.
This is true.
you have a point. He is on screen at all times during this run.
Yes.
For reference, we're talking about
So,
the is it just called Mole?
My profile icon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of the Battle Network version of Rush, the Mega Man dog.
Yes.
It was actually a design that was made for Mega Man Legends that never made it in, and then they just repurposed it for Battle Network. It's pretty cool. I like him. He's a dog.
It's a very
But, yeah.
interesting virus. Also appears
For sure.
in the spin-off Network Transmission. Also recently submitted to GDQ, funnily enough.
Great game. Great platformer.
Very fun.
That's
platformer.
Especially if you're into the Battle Network series, it's cool seeing how they translated a lot of the same chips that you use in these games into a platformer. But you know,
As well as
give
a
it a try if you
couple
can.
excellent additions.
Exactly.
So,
Now
throughout
we're
the
in the real world beach area.
yes, throughout this entire run, we've done several preliminaries for this N1 tournament that it's finally upon us. And we're going to try our hand at chess first, actually.
Rish, what-
Fun fact,
This is not how you
Rish
play
has
chess.
never played chess in his life.
This is correct.
Wait, is this knight movement legal? I don't know about this guy.
Can I do... Just get me. Aw, it only does 30 damage. Okay. I got a little unlucky with where the knight moved to one time, and it threw off my entire pattern. But, similar to Gutsman earlier, that is another fight that he just is really annoying to deal with. Therefore, it's pretty slow to actually win the fight, and since you're not required to, you might as well just die.
Now we're going to an island where the tournament not qualifiers, it's like the semifinals or something are being held. This is Hades Isle. Picking up one of our little HP memories there from some crabs, and then doing some fun stuff.
Setting up my favorite minute. Nope, that was late. I don't like that either. There we go. Good.
Favorite? This isn't even the fun version.
Okay. Fine, but this is my favorite because I came up with this idea.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, this was one of the last big kind of hurdles as far as doing fast manip. Because there's a chip from this area that we really need called Ice Ball M. And the only way to get it is from a Cold Head, which only appears in this area that we have access to.
I've got the numbers. I've got the numbers.
All right. tell me the numbers.
So I mentioned this program, Fish. The Cold Head is a water type virus. And so if you have Fish installed, there are only 4 encounters in this area that have a water type virus. So, the Cold Head encounter is a 1 in 4. Easy, 25%. However, if you don't have Fish installed, it's, just a 0.18% chance encounter. So, that's 1 in 548. Pretty good.
Pretty good odds.
And so,
I thought it was less than that.
Nope, 1 in 548. 0.18%. And, that's just what we got. That's just how we're rolling with this RNG minip stuff.
Yes. So the main idea there is we don't want to get 8,000 extra Zenny so you can buy fish. Yeah. It's really difficult to do that, even with like all the Yoka and GMDs having a lot of Zenny. It just takes too much time trying to go check all of those GMDs, find where they are and stuff. So finding that particular manipulation allows us to skip buying fish and lets us just go through this area as per usual, because we have to do all of this movement anyway as part of the story. Mm-hmm. And we get Cold Head along the way.
Pretty much. One thing that probably I don't think was mentioned is we can skip cutscenes by just holding start. Well, you can skip them by pressing start, but we can also buffer the skip by holding start. And so that was used in the Cold Head manip as well. We hit a little window and then buffered the rest, both the movement and the cutscene skips.
All right, Gentleman, behave. Come here. Thank you. One more? Want to punch me? Please?
So the way the Metal Man fight works is you're supposed to pick a door, 1 of 4. And depending on which one you pick, it's always Metal Man, but the stage changes. We go in this door because it's grass panels, and Roosh has a setup here to draw 3 burners turn 2, which will do double damage on the grass tiles, which is a whole lot for our fixed folder here, since we don't have our sword.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so we didn't mention, but this is all being with other predetermined sort of fixed folders that the game gives us. As soon as we stepped on the island, that's what we were locked into. Here, Rish is talking to some people to get some different extra folders, because we're given 3 minutes to talk to the people that are on the island and see if we can find anything better. He took 2 additional extra folders for reasons that we will explain. And then this kid has a quiz that, if it was in English, we might read.
Yeah.
But he's all the way at the top of the island, and he has a quiz, and so hopefully we get a good reward for that.
That's a pretty interesting folder for sure.
He definitely has a pretty nice folder. It's no match for our folder that has Var swords.
It has one thing that our folder is missing actually. Very important thing. What? Oh yeah.
Here you go, Star.
Yes.
Do the thing.
Oh yeah, the thing. This thing. Wait. Can I do it? There we go. Is this thing or?
Wow, how is he? Bruce is just holding left right now. Actually, that's all that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You actually wouldn't be able to tell unless I move over here. Then it's more fun.
Okay, now I'm sus.
Oh, and also the other thing about this timer is that we cannot skip it, so,
Yeah.
perfect time for donations.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing about this is you're expected to go check out the different folders, see which one works best for you, but since there's so many folders, you need to actually take the time to look at all of them, talk to all these different NPCs. So, they give you 3 minutes to do this, and if we wanted to, we cannot advance any further just yet.
Another funny thing the games did is that there are a couple NPCs on the island that just have a lot of text boxes, but they don't actually offer you a folder. And so it's just meant to sort of waste your time. There's one guy in particular who's like, oh, do you want to hear about my amazing folder? And then he goes on and on about it. And then at the very end, he's like, but there's just one thing. I forgot it at home.
Oh, darn. I
good.
left it in my other pants.
Exactly.
Crazy. I've actually never read that one. I don't know how I did this casually, thinking about it. I wonder if I just ran with the standard folder the whole time.
Probably brute force. I think when I was a kid, I played this game purely by brute force. Is this number higher than the other number for damage? Great, goes in the folder.
Yeah, if you buy a used Battle Network cart, depending on which game it is, we can tell you most likely which area it's in and can promise you that the folder will contain more than 4 codes.
Oh, most definitely. Oh, hey, it's a Var sword.
It is a Var sword. That is the reason we very much like this one.
And I don't know if you just saw, but that Var sword just did a lot of damage. In fact, it did 640 damage. Is that the first one you've done in the run?
Yes, to a boss, yes.
To a boss. So, Var sword stands for variable sword, and we can explain why. Mega Man made by Capcom. You know what else is made by Capcom? Street Fighter. Good old classic fighting games that use motion inputs. And so they took a little inspiration from that into certain chips in this game and the Battle Network series in general. And there are certain chips where if you hold A, you get a window where you have time to do D-pad inputs and also the B button technically. And it will change what the chip does. Right now, the most prominent example is the Var sword. There are a bunch of different combos that you have 45 frames or 3/4 of a second to input D-pad motions and also B button to change the actual attack that it does. For example, if you do a Hadouken motion, which is down, right, it changes it from just being a sword in front of you to being a long sword, which is the 2 panels in front of you. That's pretty cool and all, but the one we like is this. Oh, there it is once again. We call it, it's called Elemental Sonic Boom. We'll probably just call it E-slash for Elemental Slash. And basically what it does is it sends 4 slashes in this order: Fire, Aqua, Elec, and Wood.
Shocked you didn't
I
say
like-
grass.
I
I
like
know,
how
I
much
know.
longer that took you because you used proper
I had to
names.
think about it. Yeah, I had to think about it. We like to say FWEG, which stands for Fire, Water, Elec, Grass.
Yes.
It's an easy way to know what order the slashes are in. And so each slash still does the full damage, which is 160. And the first 3 slashes do not cause iframes, meaning we can actually use it on a boss and get the whole 160 times 4, which is 640. The other nice thing is that since there's a slash of each element, if the boss has an elemental type, for example, Bubble Man is Aqua type, so it gets hit by an Elec slash at least once. It's basically 160 times 5, so we end up getting 800 damage from a single chip. It's pretty crazy.
And oh, but there it is. Is that the better order? Oh, I guess, yeah.
Yes. It's
so
a very,
good.
very good order.
So the mechanic
Oh, good.
with Desert Man, which you did see both versions of, when you hit him with most attacks, he will turn to sand because he's
Yep.
sand.
And just
But if
blow
you
away in
hit
the
him
wind.
with a water element attack, he will solidify just
Yeah,
like
he kind of
sand.
clumps up. and then you can hit him more times. And so luckily for us, the thing we just discussed is that Elemental Slash does fire, water, like grass. So the Fire Slash got rid of the columns that were in front of him, and then he got hit with the next slash, which was water. Then he got clumped up, and he didn't disappear. And then he got hit by the last 2 slashes, and then he was just deleted. It was beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, so
Alright.
we've done a lot of manips up to this point. Coming up next is probably the most pivotal one. And it's also a whole bunch of audio cues and optionally visual cues, depending on how you want to set it up. We'll give Rish a little bit of serious time for this.
Serious time? You guys think I take these runs seriously? Come on.
I mean, I'll talk through this if you want.
No, please don't, actually. I was just trying to fill a little bit of the air before I actually started it.
Did Lan just jack into a vending machine?
Yes, he did.
He has a history of robbing these, and I think that's going to continue.
Good. Probably good. Good. And we're clear, I think. Beautiful.
Go, first try every time. And so I don't know if you just saw, but Rish made a lot of money. He made a lot of money. In fact, he made 255,000 Zenny
Yes.
just by doing that. The way that minigame works is you wager 1,000 Zenny, and every round you get correct, your Zenny gets quadrupled. So we go from 1,000 to 4,000, 4,000 to 16,000, 16,000 to 64,000, 64,000 to 256,000. It's beautiful.
And for good measure, because I won the minigame, you actually also get a random extra, not random, you just happen to get an extra chip, which in this case is Gut Straight O. We haven't talked about it, but Gut Straight is another solid chip that will definitely go
Has
further
a-
as well.
And it also has a command code, much like Varsword.
Yes.
Also, I don't think I mentioned exactly what the command code was for Varsword. To do the elemental sonic boom, you hold A, and within 45 frames, 3/4 of a second, since this is 60 frames per second, you gotta press B, B, left, down, and up.
Yes. It's pretty difficult, especially for newer runners to do, and especially more so to do it consistently enough throughout an entire 3-4+ hour speed run. Which is why we typically recommend newer runners to try things like Master Style instead, which is just press A. But it's definitely very powerful if you can consistently hit Varsword.
Yeah, and I wanted earlier I emphasized that Varsword, if you hit E slash, can do 640 to 800 damage, just with one single chip, because that's like the big comparison between Varsword and something like Master Style, which is a program advance that requires you to find 4 chips in your folder to do 900 damage, right?
Yes.
And so we can only have 1 Master Style in our folder, but we can have 4 Varswords in our folder. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty insane the way it works out. This next
And
part...
also, I just wanted to say really quickly about Gamble Manip, is that nobody here has said it explicitly, but we're more than set for Zenny
Oh yeah, that is
for the rest of the run.
more than enough Zenny for the rest of the run for everything we need, and I could technically buy out shops and not care if I was if I mistakenly kept pressing A for too long.
Yep.
I almost spend all of it in the new route.
Very nice, very nice. So yes,
Well-
right now what we're doing is we actually have to do a series of 4 jobs for our good friend Tora, Kingman's
He's
operator.
exactly.
Yes. He is trying to make some money as he's traveling through Electopia, trying to study great net battlers to improve his game a little bit. So, while we do these jobs to help him out, which he promises to give us a secret for another of our friends and why he's so good at net battling if we help him out. While we do this, we're also going to visit every single shop on the internet and buy out a lot of the HP memories and a couple important chips as well.
Not just a lot of the HP memories. Buy out all of the HP memories that we have access to from a shop.
Exactly.
And that'll let us get to a certain sneak run threshold. Actually quite a few sneak run thresholds. For example, right now, we're definitely way over the sneak run threshold for Yoka area, which is where we are right now. So we don't have to worry about encounters.
Yep, and very soon we will also cross the threshold for beach area, which we'll be going through momentarily as well.
Oh, actually, the virus that can escape is in this game. It's in Vex's house.
Oh, you're right. He is, in fact, in this game in some capacity.
In this game, not in the other version.
Yes. I did see that earlier, and I actually completely forgot about it while I was doing an earlier no reset for practice.
And so, yeah, this is sort of a bit of a fetch quest time in the run. Definitely a great time for donations or any sort of reminder for incentives.
Yes. Pretty much, this part is one of the more boring parts of the run for the first two jobs especially, because...
Yeah, the first two jobs are definitely more fetch questy, and then the last two jobs are a couple of fights here and there.
Yes, exactly. The first two, though, is it's going to be a lot of shopping. Like right now, we're actually about to do the big shopping trip.
Chip order.
And I'm going to introduce something that I've never done before in a run because I was recently told about new stuff that I didn't know existed.
Another fun fact about Rich is he can't read Japanese, so he didn't realize that the second chip here was actually fire element.
Yes.
So he just didn't buy it.
Yeah.
Oh, did you buy Airshot?
No.
We're good.
That one...
So Rich is mostly, like, he kind of has a rough idea about the inputs, but it's also look at the code and look at the Zenny amount.
Yeah.
And because we play this game in a very particular way, there's not too many random chips that you can pick up, especially without the chip trader. So they should be pretty much the same. Oh, is that? Yeah.
I forgot that it was going to move shake down, and then we can just do this.
That's perfect because you needed to buy both of them anyway.
Exactly.
Udo plus 30.
And Red Wave was Aka Tsunami.
Ah.
And there we
Aka
go.
being the Japanese word for red.
Rich's favorite color.
Red.
Indeed.
Yeah, actually it is.
Indeed. It is actually my favorite color. It's also a
Mine
big,
too,
big
but
run.
I don't play it up
Yeah, well,
because Rich is the red,
yeah, exactly.
He's Mr. Favorite color is red, so
I've had to play it up for years while I've been speedrunning. Except, unfortunately, when I swapped over to BN games, there aren't as many red versions that are actually fast.
True, can confirm.
But yeah, so this next one is very fetch questy. Just run, talk to this one guy, then go talk to another guy, give him Yo-Yo 1G, which we had to acquire.
Yeah.
That's the reason we had to acquire it earlier, and then go back and bring this data that we're acquiring to the guy in our school.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait. Let's not do this. There's one more
don't
shop.
Smog.
True. Pulling a Smog is forgetting that HP memory for reference.
Yeah.
Pulling a Rish
It's-
is going to the metro right now because you forget where you're going.
It's a single HP memory in a shop. It's the only thing you get in that shop, and so I always forget.
Yep. I've
Because
forgotten it many times recently too.
One of the routes that I learned at the beginning gets the last HP memory from there at the very end of the game, so many a time I had forgotten about it.
Yep.
Yep. So coming up here is the NPC who asks to get Yo-Yo 1G from you. He'll trade it for your class's insurance data, which the school apparently lost. So, that's great.
Yeah, just losing insurance data on the internet. What could go wrong?
And then getting one of the students to retrieve it.
This game is 100% not in any way a good indicator of why Internet of Things is a bad idea.
Battle Network predicted
like-
the future.
A lot of things definitely getting hacked.
Yep.
Your oven going crazy and setting fire to your house must be a virus.
Must be a virus.
Did your oven burn your house down? Probably a virus.
That's the future I want to live in.
No.
So, coming up is actually an interesting job and like a different route only because we did gamble manip. We basically just need to go to beach area, which is actually faster to do by going into the virus lab up there. But because we also want to visit Beach Square so we can buy more HP memories and a particular chip that we're very fond of right now, we're actually going to go all the way to Yoka, jack into our friend Tamako's HP, because she, once I read an email, will have a shortcut that goes directly to Beach Square.
And once Rish exits Beach Square, I think you'll probably be able to see one of the big reasons why going through the overworld is faster to get to Beach Square. You might recall the first time we visited Beach area. To get to this square, we had to go all the way around, and then we had to go through a long press path, the one where Mega Man shrinks, and we finally got to this warp. Yeah, you can see it down there.
Yep.
And, Mega Man moves extra slow when he's tiny, and there's just a whole lot of movement on here. Even though we're not getting any virus encounters, it's just a whole lot of extra movement if you want to go to the square. So that's why going to Tamako's homepage is much faster.
Folder edit time.
This is one of the larger folder edits, especially composition-wise, because now that we've got all the Zenny and the chip order, there's a lot of good chips that Rish can put in.
These chips, yes. Attack, sort. We do the attack sort to put the var sorts in the top 5 slots. As Smog discussed earlier, that is very important. I guess I'm just going to wait this out.
Buster Guard.
Oh, I could do that, actually. Oh, wait, I messed up because of it. Because I started it too late. It's fine.
Yeah, I
I believe
if I
Tara
don't,
did this.
if I well,
It
been
is
routing this particular
that is
gauntlet
that is,
recently.
that is the correct thing to do. I will not deny. Also, really good draw here. Metzar just slides right into that.
Bolt. Ah, dang.
Double bar sword.
Yeah, the var sword's probably faster.
It's hard to deny the var sword.
Oh, he did move there. Just gonna match that out. Bolt is the best draw there. It just deletes everything.
This fight is so good. Ah, dang.
It's a shame I
Okay.
actually got the draw for it.
Yeah.
You can actually bait those guys specifically to move into both lava panels, and they will just die no matter what. It's a very good backup strat. So now you guys get to see Gut Straight in action twice.
You could have just stepped forward.
Nope, not at all.
The gut straight input, in my opinion, is the hardest command input to do for one of those trips. You hold A, and similarly to Elemental Slash, you press B, B, and then the directions on the D-pad are slightly different. Instead of left, down, up, you do down, left, or right. And then the key part is you have to press B again at the end of that. And I think that just makes all the difference. It's crazy.
It is definitely difficult, but I will also say shouts to Terra for like suggesting one tiny thing that made it so that I always hit Gut Straight now.
What was it?
It's basically you have to recognize that each of the inputs has to be
they have to be
distinct.
discrete.
Yeah, so you can't like hold right at the end and press
Yeah.
B because that
Yeah,
won't
exactly.
count.
Yeah, there has to be a frame where you're just holding right, and then a frame where you're just holding B. If you press B while you're still holding right, it does not count as a discrete B input, and it won't accept the combo.
I should have killed an air shot there.
This job introduces Sneaky Purple Dolphin. It's a very unfortunate fight. Metagels, especially because these things are a bit of a pain.
Oh my god.
Did he use those iframes?
Yes.
Very nice.
God. Those so the way moles work is the only time that we can actually hit them with the chips in our folder in particularly
With most chips in our folder.
yeah, is when they are behind us after we have baited them to attack or they have decided to attack. But the metagels like to encroach on your area and take it over. So eventually at a certain point, you can't actually whoops. You can't actually hit them anymore. Alright, we'll just do this now. I messed that up. Interesting. Probably because of that discrete input thing you mentioned.
Try slash. The other combo we'll typically use is left B, right B.
It's too slow because of spreader. It's not gonna do enough damage. Very slow fight, unfortunately. If you don't get the perfect draw at the beginning of these fights, it becomes pretty annoying to get things to line up. But I also was just making a bunch of mistakes with Varsword inputs and whatnot. So this is just a quick detour to grab one more HP memory.
Rish did a lot of the dirty work in actually timing if doing the gamble manipulation would be faster. And he determined that it was faster than just getting lucky, if I recall.
Yes.
Well, not
Then
precisely.
yeah, then just
And reasonably getting lucky.
yeah. Well, in an optimal sense, the way that it works out is doing gamble manip is faster pretty much because of the next upcoming dungeon comp and being able to sneak run through it. That like pretty much saves all of the time loss back immediately.
Oh, you know, one thing not included in his time is Red Wave.
It is not. It is not.
I never timed Gamble Minute because I looked at it and I said, this is faster.
It is approximately
First
1
doesn't
minute
believe it,
faster.
That's how I
It's
function
definitely,
as well.
it's definitely more than a minute faster. Part of the difficulty in the timing is that if you don't do Gamble Manip, you're a little more, well, I mean, whether or not you do fish also
Yeah,
changes it.
exactly, right? Like with fishless ice ball manip and whatnot, it becomes a lot more different too, which wasn't included as part of my original timings because it was just looking strictly at gamble manip. You can do fishless ice ball, but you can do that without doing gamble manip. However, that makes the gamble manip route even nicer because you need less RNGs any early.
Yep. But I guess the biggest difference that we don't really factor in is you have a much better folder, so your fights on average will be faster. Optimally, they'll be the same, but on average, they'll be faster.
Exactly. That's what my timings were considering is Gamble Manip a faster strat optimally, not just on average. Because I've always agreed that Gamble Manip introduces a hard trick, a very difficult trick for the sake of very nice, consistent fights later on in the game because you have an insanely better folder.
I mean, a double frame perfect visual cue on the title screen plus an audio cue plus 4 additional audio cues all within a range of 5 frames is difficult?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh.
A little bit. Who knows?
But you
Depends
also
who-
say door skip is
couldn't
hard.
be.
I said it was hard until I figured out what you guys were talking about. And then when I figured out,
I remember that actually.
I thought it was some different strat, but yes.
I remember you saying that you were like, "What door skip?" And I was like, don't worry about it. You'll find out.
Everyone just names these tricks, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? For reference, they're talking about Celeste tricks. Oh wait.
Wrong.
Oh,
Sorry, I
hold
knew
down
you were
left.
gonna do that.
Hold down left.
That timing was too good.
Oh,
Hold down left to what?
out of that cutscene, it just looks really funny. Anyway, Mamoru had a heart attack.
Yes, the boy in the
Yes.
wheelchair. His name is Mamoru, if you're not aware. But he had a heart attack because he has a pre-existing condition.
Not funnily enough. Actually, it's very not funny. But I'm used to saying funnily enough. It's the same heart condition that Mega Man had when he was still alive and Lan's brother.
Yeah,
Yo, spoilers.
Spoilers.
Pre-
Hey, it's lore. It doesn't really matter.
that's the wrong door. Don't mind me.
Oh, this is also where we have to give him Ice Ball M.
Yes,
So
correct.
The final story required chip.
Basically, there's a new health treatment or surgery that he doesn't want to try because he's tired of dealing with all of these new treatments that people say will work. But he was also talking earlier about this chip that he's always really wanted called Ice Ball M, and we figure maybe we can inspire some hope in him if we give him the chip he's always wanted. And now he's agreed to, try the surgery out.
Not question it.
Yes.
So these next two scenarios are one of the big reasons where Gambleman is going to save a lot of time because it introduces a new mechanic called Energy Change, which is an attempt to kind of integrate the Navi Customizer effects into the story. And we need to energy change battleships into effects in the different dungeons.
In the overworld, to be clear.
Yeah,
And you'll see
in the
very quickly
cyber
what we
overworld.
mean. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The cyber overworld.
But because it consumes a chip, we need a lot of these elemental chips.
Hey, there's
fire
an
and
HP
water.
memory in that tree.
Yes.
Yeah, shout outs to Tree HP.
It's the
So what are
last
we at now?
one we
560?
need. Yes.
560. The perfect amount.
It's the last one we grab, the perfect amount to sneak run from these upcoming hospital comps, where we have to do the energy change things that Tara was just
So you're gonna
mentioning.
reflect?
Mod Tools is in fact not grabbed.
Oh, do you intentionally get that later, or
No, I just always forget.
that's funny?
I literally, in my most recent PB, just forgot to grab it and ended up with world
A
record.
whole
so,
run, right?
Yeah.
Oh, just throughout the whole run?
Yeah.
Oof. Wild.
By the time I was finally just,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I should go grab that. It was ranking, and I was like, oh yeah, unfortunately, not worth at this point.
Yeah, unfortunately, the thing about mod tools is that, once again, we'd much rather just see, a Var sword at the beginning of a fight.
Yeah, it's just a nice backup strat to make the fights more consistently fast, and some fights a little bit safer.
Yeah. There's some fights at the last sort of third of the game that the word scary definitely can describe them.
Yes.
Oh,
Very
why?
much.
Nice. You know you had 2 Var swords. I understand
Yeah.
you've never messed up a command code in your life.
It was in slot 6.
Called
It's
out.
too hard to get it. When I'd already seen that the one was in slot 3. Because it slides in from the left.
That was
Hey,
a
Rich,
good,
how did-
good clip.
How did Lan get from that window to down here?
They found a wrong warp.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Story-wise, Lan just jumped out of the second story
window.
of a hospital into the ocean, which is even further below because there's a basement too. So it's 3-4 stories height that he just jumped for no reason.
But don't worry, his PET has a case.
Yes, PET has a case, so it's all safe.
The PET is the smartphone-like device that has Mega Man in it.
But even better, he used the PET, threw it down to break the surface of the water so that it was a safe impact.
Physics.
Oh, remember to skip the plant?
Which plant?
There's one. You need to burn one less because of red wave. I don't know which one.
I know which one to skip. Don't worry.
Cool. So this virus is a goofball, and I mean that literally. He's got a mask though. Oh, that's almost good. And so he's invincible until he takes it off, but then it's sort of blocking you. So we're just gonna stand next to it and use a wide attack. So, Bolt!
Oh, I did have Bolt, but unfortunately Bolt doesn't do enough damage to outright.
Yeah, true. It would have been fun.
If it did, I would always take it there.
No.
Oh, wait. There.
This mask is an object. Anyway, that's the first 2 hospital comps. Now we got 3 more. These are connected, and we're just burning through the fire chips.
Yes. Burning through a lot of fire chips.
And some trees.
As you might have noticed, and will continue to notice, we do all of this without getting a single random encounter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because burning the trees resets your step counter.
No, it doesn't. Stop lying.
We wish.
We wish.
I would never. This information, I read it on Game FAQs.
Game FAQs is never wrong. You're right.
All speaking seriously though, shoutouts to Game FAQs. When I was a kid, I definitely frequented their site to get a lot of information about this game.
Yes.
Whether or not all of it was accurate, don't worry about it.
It's definitely very nice for casualing the game's first time as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Even as a teenager, when I finally 100%ed Battle Network 2, for example, Game FAQs was instrumental.
2's so good.
It really is. Very good game.
Oh, you want to do Area 5 backwards, or would that be too confusing?
I would do it if I knew where Fire Sword is. And
you just
how it works.
Okay.
But
fine.
also, well, I guess I could even do it backwards to begin with.
The Fire Sword is literally just
It's easy.
upright.
Can I do it?
Yeah, like just keep going upright. Okay, well.
No, I'm not gonna do it because I'm doing what I know it
Alright.
works. I'm sorry, but
Okay, don't worry about it.
yeah, we need 3 more chips. This all works out. The plant I'm skipping, by the way, is that one up there, which also gives 3.
Oh yeah, that's slow.
Very slow. The 2 fires we burn or the 2 plants we burn, excuse me, are pretty much in the way, which is really nice. The 2 that give more fire chips.
Can't believe you're just gonna throw away a mega chip like Salamander.
2 mega chips, Line Out and Salamander.
It's okay, Salamander literally doesn't do anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is Plant Man. He is a wood Navi.
Mm-hmm.
We have a variable sword.
Sure do.
Hopefully. Nope.
I mean, we will eventually. It's okay, you can just reflect 200. Oh. Plant Man's got some annoying attacks. Also, he is a wood Navi, and we are a Lek element. So if Rich gets grabbed, it does hurt.
I should have just taken 2 bar swords.
It's okay, I like watching the custom gauge fill up. It's very satisfying. Bolt off his attack.
Is he gonna hit me there? Like, which one opens first? Okay, good to know.
I don't. It might be random. So those plants have different status effects. The yellow one's annoying because it paralyzes you. Yo, 10 bug
10
frags.
bug frags.
Yeah, I accidentally counter hit him.
And then the other one confuses you, which whatever.
Yeah, that wouldn't really be too painful.
Yeah, thankfully confusion only affects your movement.
What if it
Not
affected
any of your
command code?
Oh my.
Oh, that'd be
No. That would be nightmarish.
just like spin the D-pad randomly.
pray.
Hope something comes out.
Like wide sword? I didn't even know it. Oh, it's Beardman.
He's back.
He doesn't have a
this is
name.
not
That's
a
why we
cutscene.
call him Beardman.
Yeah, he doesn't have a name at all.
Oh, so this is where we get the last battleship that we're going to care about putting in our folder. Got some others now. And in order to do it, it's a trade for a Shake 1S, which is something we can pick up in the chip order code only because we bought Shake 1R from the Yoka shop to put it in our library so that it appears in the chip order.
Correct.
That gives us another VAR sword in the B code, which is nice. So Rich will do a folder edit at some point once we start fighting some navies.
And that's all we ever heard about that Shake chip.
Yeah.
Yep, we'll never see it
Unless
ever again. Shake has some very unique properties to it. It's actually
Yeah.
Shake 1R, which we bought, is actually in our folder because why not?
of
You know,
reasons.
you know what else is R coded?
Roll.
Step cross chip order.
Yeah, I know.
Ah.
I know it is. Yeah.
Don't you
Step
get like
cross-
2 of those, Smog?
Yeah, I did. You know, one of the nice things about Battle Network 3 is that throughout
Oh, I
a
didn't-
whole range of its
Oh, you got the gut straight.
Oh, wait.
its possible times as a speedrun, you can implement a whole bunch of different strats,
In the back.
and some of them are more consistent than
Poor guy.
others. And
only I had
I'm
reflex.
definitely a fan of
You're just
consistent strats.
Taunting him. What a bad draw. Counter. Oh, the Matar countered you. So you can get knocked out of attack animations, thus canceling your attack.
There's your counter, Terra.
Ah, bug frags.
Also, what I meant to do before that was this.
Oh yeah.
No, that one I want there. Whoops. Wait, stop, please. Do these inputs, thank you. Trying to do inputs fast results in mistakes. Who would have guessed?
Yep. The one downside about RNG manipulation, one of the downsides is that it's very. If you get your folder in a bad state, it can be hard to recover. Electric attacks do double damage on ice.
Yep. It is very nice. So, what we're doing right now is an old enemy told us, or is trying to get our trust back, and is
Well,
telling us.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. He said so himself that he was a bad guy and now he's a good guy. So obviously, you know, people can't lie, right? So
He's
Can't-
the best NPC in the entire series. It's Mr. Match.
Yes. He is trying to become a better person and has taken a job at Scilab, apparently. We don't trust him because he tried to burn our house down back in Battle Network 1. And in order to gain our trust, he's helping us by telling us where certain evil navies are so that we can go take care of them. And so far, he has not really lied to us, so
yeah.
there's
He
no
also,
way it could be bad.
He showed up in Battle Network 2 and just stood menacingly in an airport.
He was literally loitering, literally
Yeah,
illegal.
He really was. And he was like, "Hey, kid, you want to fight?"
Never.
And
like,
obviously,
do you wanna-
net battle, not in real life.
I'm gonna challenge this person to a net battle.
He's literally unnamed in that game.
He's like, wait, you're ...
Is he in the Electopia or the Netopia side?
Electopia.
Okay. So he hasn't just fled the country. Good.
Yeah, he's not left. Yeah.
No.
But yeah, he said he's good now, so you know, there's nothing could go wrong.
That was the Tri-Slash.
Shout out to Varsword.
Yeah, so there's usually, on boss fights, you will always pretty much use E-Slash, because it's just the strongest option, 640 damage, and when you do Tri-Slash, while it's still 3 instead of 4 slashes, they all cause iframes.
Yep.
So, unfortunately, that doesn't work very well on bosses. But,
Fortunately for us, as Rish was about to say, and then I interrupted. Viruses don't have iframes.
Yeah. So you can typically, if you know that Tri-Slash will deal enough damage, you can just use that. It's a much simpler code than E/, so much easier to hit, even though it's the only one I've actually missed so far this run. Don't worry about that. But yeah, much easier to hit, and it's also one less input, so technically faster.
Yeah. It's one of the interesting things about Varsword and other command codes, at least for me, and I know for a lot of other people, is that when you get into speedrunning, one of the first sort of hurdles that you, speedrunning this game in particular, one of the first hurdles or pieces of knowledge that you kind of have to gain is like, if you don't do this naturally, it's like, oh, this is actually just much easier if I just switch my hand position slightly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually switched to...
Smell, scent of danger, scent of danger.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was thinking, I want you to know that I was thinking about mod tools.
It's all good, don't worry about it.
We'll remind you of that next.
So this is the part where we learn that Mr. Match, the character that we were talking about earlier, has a certain smelly smell about him. One might even say the scent of danger. But don't take it from me. What if the game makes you talk to an NPC that tells you that? Except, I guess in this case, in Japanese, but don't worry about it. We know what the game says in English.
Yes.
Is that an orange Navi?
Shout outs to
I mean,
orange
in this case,
Navis.
it actually is. It's orange and blue.
This one is. I think Tara was referring to the orange Navi I passed by.
Oh, I see, I understand. A reminder to buy mod tools?
Not yet. I was thinking about buying it, but I'm pretty sure it's better to get it on the way back, because less horizontal movement, maybe? I don't know.
Symmetric movement
I'm gonna say
interesting.
that it's equal.
Probably.
And Rish just took the stairs there instead of the elevator because it's healthier and faster.
Yeah, we have unlocked the stairs since the hospital scenario with Plantman, and it is in fact faster to do so.
And healthier.
And much healthier.
Mod tools.
Thank you. I would have forgotten, actually. This is the problem. I think about it, and then by the time I'm like going through this particular area, I always forget.
Yeah, and for this is another fun thing to, not fun thing, but a thing to bring up is for anyone who after watching this might be interested in picking up a speed game in the Battle Network series. We might be talking about all these input command codes that you have 45 frames to put in before the attack comes out, and this and that, and program advance, and buster guard, and blah blah blah. But if you want to go fast, definitely the first and most important thing to just start getting down is learning where to go and when. Just sort of the way the story is, learning the maps, etc., because if you can get all of that, even if you're doing some sort of safe beginner strats in actual fights, that'll get your time real nice and down.
Yeah, it turns out most of the game is moving.
Yeah, for sure that just knowing where to go is the most helpful thing. Knowing where to go, how to traverse through the areas is easily the biggest time save. Most of my time losses in this particular run are because I legitimately just went the wrong way.
Yep, I remember.
And this particular run is very nice because there are a lot of safer backup options that you can go for that are still pretty dang fast. You have plenty of options.
Yeah. Battle Network 3 is definitely one of the Battle Network games that has the most just content in general, but also I would think it kind of has a lot of mechanics, has a lot of battle chips, it has the mod tools codes, it has a whole bunch of things that work out in our favor to give us a lot of options. And that's one of the reasons why, sort of, up until recently even, the route, or the way you go about the route, has fluctuated a little bit.
BN3 is the choose your own adventure speedrunning.
Like the previous world record for this did not have any RNG manipulation.
Well, any intentional.
Any intent, sure. I'll accept that.
It wasn't a single segment.
It wasn't a single segment, I can confirm.
Okay, so now this is Smog's favorite part, so I'm gonna go get a drink and let him explain.
All right, so it turns out that just because Mr. Match said that he was a good guy, he may or may not have lied and set the internet on fire and set Scilab on fire. And Scilab has her dad in there, and he wants to protect the science. So there's a lot of things that are going wrong. And so thankfully we have a program that we got in the hospital called Energy Change, which is we used fire chips, converted it into fire energy to burn down the vines in the hospital. Similarly, we can use water chips, convert it into water energy, and put out these fires on the internet. And luckily for us, we know that there are 3 fires per internet area. So 3 in ACDC map 1, 3 in ACDC map 2, 3 in ACDC map 3, etc., etc. So we're just going to go through. We know exactly where they are, and we know exactly how many water chips we need. And now we just get to listen to the rockin' internet theme.
The internet area, or each of the fires, has a particular reward as well for clearing them. So sometimes they drop Zenny, sometimes they drop nothing, sometimes they have a virus encounter that you have to run away from. There's nothing you can do about that because you still need to put out the fire. But sometimes they contain a couple extra aqua chips, which is why we only need we actually don't need as many aqua chips as there are fires. But we know exactly how many we need to actually be able to clear all of the fires appropriately. By the end of this, I will be completely out of fire and aqua chips.
Because what is it? There are 9 areas, and each one has 3 fires, so that's just 9 times 3 is 27. 27.
Yes.
There are 27 fires. But we can get through by having how many chips? How many water chips?
15-ish.
14 or something like that.
Something around there.
14, 15.
It might be 14.
I think it's 14.
Yeah. One of the other nice things is that the way that you confirm that you're done with an area is Mr. Match will call you to tell you you've put out all of the fires in a particular area. At least overarching internet area. So, for example, all of ACDC, all of Yoka, etc. So we're already done with ACDC 1 through 3. We're now moving on to Yoka.
Yoka 2 and 1. In that order. Well, 2, 1, 2, 1. In that order.
Yep, that is correct.
And then we do Scilab, and then we do Beach. And we end with Beach for a very particular reason, which is it has the entrance to the new area that is introduced in this scenario.
Correct.
We'll get to it when we get there. It's one of my favorite areas. At least the music is. And I like the look of it as well. Yeah, so that fire always has a virus. In English, the text box says, "It's a virus." So I always just exclaim, "It's a virus."
Thank you,
when I
Smog.
remember. You're welcome, you're welcome. My own tradition.
Meteorite barrage!
Because, Terra was half joking when I said it's my favorite scenario. I know a lot of people really do not like this scenario because it's a little dull. I don't mind it as much because I get to relax. But I can only go so far in saying that it's engaging. It's not very engaging.
Yeah, it's just generally a very boring segment of the game where you just kind of go around. We already know where the fires are. We already have all of our aqua chips. It's just go from point A to point B with nothing in between.
Luckily for us, basically after the next boss, we get into the best part of the game, which is for after the next boss till the end of the game. It's just like it's so nice, so good, so much fun.
Lots of fights, lots of difficult fights that are
Yeah.
interesting, fun to try out. Also,
Lots of excitement, and then even some cool movement at the end.
I'll quickly shout it out. Thank you for the host, Zero. Super appreciate it. As we mentioned, I am working on a submission video for BN3 with the help from Smog and Terra. So, not going to really interact with chat as much, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask them, and we can try to answer if it's relevant to the particular segment of the game that we're at. No worries, Zero. Luckily, you caught us at a very lull in where we might actually have relevant commentary, because we've already talked about this entire part. Though I will say right now, it's actually faster once you're done with Yoka to jack out and go over to Yai's, because Yai's HP has a shortcut that will take us to Scilab, which is the next area we want to put out. We can then take the metro to Beach, which will be the last area we work on. Yes, this is exactly where we would insert donations and reminders for donation incentives.
Yep. Luckily for us, Yai lives very close, and as mentioned, she has a shortcut. And unfortunately, the last fire in the Yoka area, which is the last one we cleared, is like super out of the way. So jacking out just works out very nicely there.
Mm-hmm. It takes a very long time to go through multiple slow press paths.
Long press paths. Like,
Yeah.
oof. It's a virus. I always say it in that voice too.
Yes, I'm well aware.
You've been in stream.
I have been.
I'm still thoroughly disappointed that the optimal RTA Netfires route is so boring.
Yeah.
Because the task route is very interesting, and we have so many options with everyone's HP warps and shortcuts, and
it's just
I think,
go to
unfortunately,
too much walking.
the big thing is just like having to fight Metal Man.
We timed it out. You have about 20 seconds of time save. If you can defeat Metal Man twice within those 20 seconds, you save time. Or something around that.
So the task probably barely saves time.
Yeah.
It would definitely save time, though.
It's definitely
So
more
good AO
interesting
strat.
in Alpha
Also,
Omega.
the task saves more time because it can do the jobs in a different order. For Tora jobs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it saves time on that job as well.
Good one.
Ring, ring.
All right.
So we're always expecting to have a phone call because each runner will usually do the fires in the same order every time. So we're always expecting a phone call after a certain fire, and if for some reason we don't get it, we have realized we have forgotten something.
Mhm.
Panic sets in immediately.
Yeah.
What did I forget?
And so now we're just at beach area. This is the final two areas. Here we do one and then two. Nice proper order, unlike Yoka and Scilab.
Yeah, we have to do one first actually because area 2
Water chips.
is because of water chips, but also like it just
It's
works
faster
out.
to do it this way, yeah.
It just works out like
In terms of
walking
movement.
lines.
Yeah.
Given where we want to end.
Yes. Precisely.
Because we're getting ready to enter a pretty cool
Don't say,
area
Don't say
for the RL, so for the Battle Network series. We're currently in the internet, and in each Battle Network game there is a section that is not the internet.
The main
Can be-
internet,
can be-
one might say. Yeah, I'm right there. I don't think I can forget it.
Oh, sorry, I was watching the slow stream.
The
It's an orange navy.
True. The that PMD right there contained something called Spin Pink.
It's a key item.
It's a key item that allows us to spin programs in our Navicust that are the color pink. We've already done that with the white programs. The Lotto codes gave us spin white. I don't think we really
Spin
talked.
wit.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it because it wasn't super important. But just to mention that fact, we can't actually spin Navicust programs unless we have the particular key item for their color. So.
Yep.
And we
It's
grabbed
pretty,
Spin Pink in particular because we have a
Very
pink
large.
program that is a little hard to fit
Yeah.
in our current Navi customizer, but we can fit it in with Spin Pink, and it's a pretty good one, if I do say so myself.
It's a very large program, but it's very worthwhile.
I was almost confused. Where are we going?
To the square.
We have 2 water chips left. Perfect.
Yep. It all
Got one
worked
left.
out.
And then we get a big long phone call here.
All according to
to-
Keikaku.
After this encounter.
Oh yeah, true.
Say it, say it, say it.
It's a virus.
And you just hold start. You get 2 calls back to back.
Yeah.
First one's for Beach, and then for...
Fun fact.
Dang, I was trying to see if I
Smog, you want to say the fun fact?
Fun fact, green mystery data reappear after that cutscene, I think,
Yes.
right? Is that the fun
yeah,
fact?
because it thinks you left the internet and came back.
Yeah.
Because it showed
Oh,
a
by the way-
cutscene with... it showed Scilab ever so
Scilab,
briefly,
yeah.
so...
Yeah.
Yo, by the way, this is the Undernet spooky, dangerous internet areas.
Ooh, theme. Ooh,
Good
music.
theme.
Ominous.
We did hear this earlier on Hades Isle, but yeah, no, it's still good.
You got a taste of it. Now we get to go through the whole thing.
And I think the aesthetic with the reds and the blues and the static in the back, the bitrate killer, it's just nice.
The bitrate killer for sure. Not as bad as BN2's title screen, but
Yeah, this is true.
you get a nice long loop too, because we've skipped one encounter so far. Oh,
Yeah.
we looped. Let's go. And there's the encounter. Ah, very nice fight.
Yurts. I think we all said the wrong thing. They're yurts with a
What
U.
is, it's the Yo-Yo 2 virus.
Yes.
Whatever.
Great for Alpha Omega, which is the sort of 100%-ish category of this game. 100% asterisk.
Bruce is currently obligated to do a run at some point.
That is correct.
True.
At some
Oh,
point.
they lined up. That was nice.
That was a very interesting lineup, yeah.
Yeah. Spiky movement is random, and it can be just bad enough that E/Slash doesn't actually kill him.
Yep.
Yep. If one Spiky takes the Fire and Aqua Slash, then you just don't have enough damage if the other one doesn't line up properly.
So Flam Man's got a gimmick here where he's got these candles. They have 8 HP, but our Buster does 1 damage, and the charge shot is pitiful. We're just gonna do it anyway. The green ones, the color of the candle has different effects. Green ones make him invincible. Yellow ones spawn things on your side of the field, and red ones restore his HP. Doesn't matter though, because he's dead.
Yeah.
But you know who else is
And
about to
now-
be dead soon?
You base.
Base, absolutely.
Yeah, just to stand in the background.
Oh, Rish, you got hit.
Don't worry about it.
Rish, you
Reflect,
got hit.
reflect.
He only
Reflect.
does.
Mod tools.
Rish,
Reflect.
wait, no, Rish.
I can't
Breathe in
reflect.
It's B then
Well,
left.
I was trying.
I guess
Left
I
than
guess
B.
it just happens.
Yeah. That one is an absolutely forced loss. Unlike the other two, where we lost only because it was faster, you cannot defeat that version of base.
Yeah,
It
that's
is
too fat kid.
actually impossible to do.
Yeah.
His aura
If-
is
if,
supposed to take 100 damage, and then he becomes vulnerable, but if I recall, literally nothing gets rid of his aura.
Yeah, correct.
Except, well, there's
Um,
one thing that gets rid of his aura. If you are Killer 336, his aura goes away.
Oh,
eventually.
true. That's
But
right.
that's the only exception to the rule.
That is correct. You have to program your name into the game. That's right.
What these two gentlemen are referring to is that they're we mentioned game FAQs and some of the things that they may or may not have said, and similarly, out there on the internet, apparently people can lie, and
What? On the
Shocking.
internet? No.
and so there are lots of rumors flying around about, oh, if you do this, you can beat that version of base, or if you do this, or if you use a common misconception is if you use like balance, which is a giga chip, and some other stuff. But basically, even if you get that version of base somehow to 0 HP, the fight still doesn't end because he's not supposed to be defeated. Like even if you literally cheat and set his HP to 0, the fight doesn't end.
But next you're gonna tell me I can't push the truck and get Mew.
I mean, I've got something to tell you, Tara. And another fun thing about that base fight is that, as we mentioned, it's a forced loss. And we mentioned the Navi customizer part undershirt earlier, which makes it so that if you would have been hit by a fatal blow, it leaves you at 1 HP. It's actually disabled in that base fight because if it wasn't, there is technically a way to soft lock.
What do you
When
mean?
you are wood
Is it
style,
actually disabled? What?
yeah,
Yes, it is. It is actually disabled.
I was like, we took it out of the Navi code. What do you mean?
No, yeah, we took it out, but even if you leave it in, it's disabled.
I guess
like-
he doesn't get low enough to do Earthbreaker.
Yep.
That fix it.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're a wood style, one of the elements that you can have a style change for, if you stand on a grass panel, you will recover HP pretty slowly, but still at a decent rate.
You're literally invincible. Nothing has
yeah,
ever
yeah.
killed me on a grass panel.
So if you have a chip called a grass stage, you can set the whole field to be grass panels. And if you have undershirt in, every time base hits you, you get iframes. Then you recover a little bit of HP. And then if you had undershirt in, the next time he would hit you, you would go back to 1, you would get iframes, recover a little bit of HP. And so basically you would be soft locked because there'd be grass panels and you'd have undershirt in and this and that, and they did good by disabling undershirt for that fight, since it's just scripted anyway.
I
Yeah.
guess they learned from the Protectos.
Yeah.
So, right now, we are going on a journey to the Undernet because our friend Chad, who is an official net baddler, or kind of like
He's
net,
basically like police.
yeah, like
almost.
the net police is effectively the
Also,
best.
fun fact,
description.
he's 13.
Yeah.
So he's in that edgy phase.
Yeah,
He's a Proto-Man's operator, by the way.
correct. He has instructed us to go and infiltrate the ranks of the Undernet so that we can learn about where this super secret weapon is called Giga Freeze, I believe.
Yep.
That will help us to stop the evil organization of this game's whole plan before they can actually complete it. That is currently what we're doing, so we're on our way there. He gave us a program that makes us look like an evil Navi, even though we can't tell. So,
They speak like an evil Navi as well.
Yeah.
Just give off an evil aura.
yeah.
But
That's our karma
maybe not
to
an
0.
aura.
Yes, so this way we can actually get into the Undersquare. It's the last internet square that we have not yet been to. There are
That
some...
guy specifically doesn't let you through if you don't look evil.
Yeah. There's a net shop here. We could buy more HP memories, but at this point, there's no useful HP thresholds we could reach to sneak
On
around.
average, you would lose 3 seconds if you
Yeah.
did that.
Rip Navi plus 20. I thought I was so smart.
Yep.
Snake Folder wins again.
And now we're going through a preliminary to enter the ranks of the Undernet. First,
So
Reg.
this is where
Regging ended
the
as
fun
well.
really begins. So
right.
this pink program we want to spin, it's called Fast Gauge. Fast Gauge?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fast Gauge. I was like, is it Fast Gauge or Quick Gauge?
It makes your custom gauge fast.
Yeah. So the custom gauge is the thing at the top in a fight that needs to fill up before we can pick more chips. And having that program in there literally cuts the time it takes to fill in half. Goes
We're good.
from approximately 8 seconds to approximately 4 seconds.
It's a good call
good.
out from Green there.
Very good call out given what happened in my run earlier.
Got a good clip though. Got a good clip. There's two gauntlets left. This one and the next one, and this second fight is super annoying because it has 2 moles in it. It's also got a shrimpy that's like all of these viruses are annoying.
And strong. If
Well,
you're heat
one
style
of them strong.
and the shrimpy hits you, does a lot of damage. That does a
true.
lot of damage.
That's true. Oh, you had Hero Sword. You know, if you had Airshot on Reg, Airshot Hero Sword is a super cool fight here.
Yeah, I can picture it now. Speaking of,
Oh, rip.
That it's less cool on this fight. So
oops, wait. Oh, I did put
you
it
got
in.
Reflect, right?
I did put it in. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Where is it?
So
Alright, I
that's
guess we're doing it.
that is Reflect.
Somewhat.
If you press B and then left, you pull up a better version of the shield. You can pull it up very quickly instead of a shockwave. It's basically an instant cast teleporting bullet, more or
Moves-
less.
hits
Moves
It does
one-
100 damage.
Moves one
No
tile
iframe.
per frame.
That's pretty fast.
At worst, it's getting there in 5 frames. In a 60 FPS game, that is 1/12 of a second. But yes, it's a very good safety strat because you can put up a shield.
Save.
I'm not saving before these guys. Come on.
Yeah, these guys
Or
are
just
free.
before you forget.
I've already
That's all.
saved before that gauntlet.
Okay.
That was what I was doing, and now I'm probably going to go until the Dominard, where I'll save again, because that is the next actually terrifying
Yep.
fight.
There's you saw some rats earlier in this run.
No. They're free.
Doesn't even let me say. Okay. I mean,
No,
you're probably
okay, I'll let
most
you
of the
finish.
time. Most of the time, you're right. No, it's like it probably won't even matter.
When I have Invis on Reg too, it's much easier.
Oh yeah, you're literally cheating. You've got Reflect. Why would you Invis?
Because
Can't Reflect if you're invisible.
the Invis also properly times it so that the Ratty uses a projectile that doesn't block any E-slash or anything.
Okay, so this ranking preliminary is 10 fights.
Ah,
This
wow, that was
is
so bad.
the
Still
8th
counts as a
fight.
hit.
It does.
You know, there were more chips. Oh, Invis wore off. Yay!
And now we have fight number 9 and fight number 10 left, and these are legitimately
One of them.
I think
10
if
with
you do
Reflect
the-
is fun.
It is
Oh,
fun.
sure. This one in particular with this red shield virus called the Dominard. Oh, you got... Okay, I see how it is.
That's an interesting draw.
Where'd Mega Man go? I can't see. Too bad that step cross isn't gonna help.
Yeah. Is that
After the
just-
Dominard attacks 3 times, he uses Geddon 1, which will crack all of the panels, which is annoying. Now, actually, you can use Reflect, which will stop the Dominard's attack. However, no one will take damage.
Yes.
So that fight can be a little terrifying, or very terrifying if your draw is bad and you get a little careless. This fight,
Especially
in
if
my
it was.
opinion, apparently can also be pretty terrifying. Much better with Invis. And that was a good draw. Good fights.
Very nice.
Moonwalk? No moonwalk sad.
Thank you for reminding me just a moment too late. But yes. Those fights are very terrifying to some extent. It's very easy to die when you're not being super careful about it.
Yeah.
But we can just save before it, and if we die, we just do the fight again. So,
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the first fight that will actually get us ranked.
It's a very, very fight.
It's a fight. It's definitely a fight.
It's a very, very fight.
Yes, very much so.
It is a fight, and it exists.
Mm-hmm.
And it has cool music.
It does have great battlers.
Great Battlers is the title of this track that you're about to hear. Oh, you didn't even get a Var Sword.
It's okay. I got a draw.
So that was an easy fight, and if Rish had drawn a Var Sword, it would have been an even easier fight. Basically, nothing to worry about. We were memeing on you.
Yeah, it's just...
We like to make the joke that if you were to ever practice that fight, what you're practicing is drawing a Var Sword.
Yep. That's really all it is.
Just practice getting lucky. And then after that, the funny thing in this scenario is that each Navi we beat who gives us a rank gives us a clue for where the next ranked Navi is. And I forget exactly what rank number 10 says. I don't think he says anything, he just leaves. And then we get an email. He forgets. We get an email from our friend Mail saying, "Hey kiddo, come find me in the zoo comps." Yeah. And we're like, oh man, Mail's sounding kind of funny. But you know, she's our friend, so let's go check it out. Nothing could go wrong.
Absolutely nothing can go wrong here. Just in case.
Oh, you know, I respect it.
Just in case that last fight goes.
Yeah. Oh wait, we got ambushed. Oops, our bad. It's some ranking preliminary Navis coming to ambush us and take their revenge.
It's the same four that did the first Gauntlet of Four in the prelim.
Right outside the square.
They're like trying to take advantage of power of numbers, basically.
And so these fights aren't too bad. It's 4 fights. Well, the first 3 fights aren't too bad. And then the fourth fight is one of those fights. Wow, what a draw.
That was an
what a bad
incredible draw.
The fourth fight is one of those fights where if just a little goes wrong, a lot can go wrong.
I'm messing up tri-slash more than I'm messing up e/slash.
Oh god, there he is. I think you're probably fine. Yeah, easy.
Tri-slash for funsies. Or e/slash,
Very
excuse
good.
me. But yeah, that fight in particular, the Trumpet Virus,
In the very back, the gray one.
he is a very upgraded version of the Trumpet Virus who gives invincibility to all of his friendly viruses for a very extended period of time. And because there's a cracked panel that he makes a hole, he can't move, he just kind of sits there and keeps making them invincible for a long period of time. And because of that, they just have invincible like obstacles in our way, blocking us from dealing with the Trumpy and getting rid of him.
Not only that, he also has 300 HP, which is like, you know, it's an amount.
That's a very difficult
It's-
amount to deal
it's
with
an
very
amount.
often.
Yeah, and especially because our strategy at this point in particular is sort of like sonic boom slashes. The 2 viruses in the front, if they are invincible because of the trumpet's music, it's rough. It's a rough one. Thankfully, if you just get the Var Swords at the beginning, you can usually take care of those 2 viruses and leave the trumpet virus vulnerable in the back by itself. And that's exactly what happened.
Yep. So we actually got an email from rank 10 Navi, or the old rank 10 Navi, telling us where rank 9 was finally. And he's just like, I want out of this whole undernet thing, so he just gives us rank 9, because why not?
Yeah. And then we get a cryptic clue, Rednu 3, for where the next ranked Navi is.
What a nice
Yeah,
guy.
Put that in a mirror and let's see where we're going. Spoiler alert, we're going to Undernet 3.
Yes.
I thought we were going to Undernet E.
Maybe one day. I think Undernet E is all of BN1's Undernet, according to the background at least.
E. Yes.
Now, I wonder who this next ranked Navi is.
It's gonna be a bit of a shot.
Ooh, Condors.
That's a pretty good fight too. This one does kind of just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like
There's also an interesting quirk with this fight, especially in
Yeah.
the 100% category.
Yeah.
But we don't have to talk about it just yet.
yeah.
Or ever.
Sure.
All right, and here we are. Only because I've messed up the following fight, not the one that's coming up, but the one after. I've messed
One
up a few
after?
times. Never died, but
Oh, it's Beastman. Beastman V3,
Double
also known in
Varsor.
English as Beastman Beta. He's very fast. He moves pretty unpredictably, and he still gets just wrecked by a Varsword. So
you kind of
two
just
Varswords.
stand in the back and wait for him to attack.
Reflect.
Yep, that is the play here.
She's like, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
And no, he's not.
No. I like how the water slash extinguishes the lava tiles.
Yeah. So, turns out World 3, the evil organization of this game, is also trying to infiltrate the rankings of the Undernet to get a hands on that weapon before we can. So that's why Beastman makes a guest appearance very quickly. He's actually the rank 8 Navi, but we get his...
Was the ranking.
True. We take his rank from him. We're now rank 8. He's not so friendly enough to tell us where rank 7 is. I forget exactly how we learned, but I think they just email us directly.
I think it was like the guy you get ambushed by was the other previous rank 8,
Yeah,
and
he
he's
was.
like, "Hey, let me tell you where rank 7 is." And he's like, "Now's my chance." And then he tried, but
Yeah.
it also didn't work out for him.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what happens.
Ah, neat.
Shout out
Imagine
some cutscenes.
watching English cutscenes.
That one is one of the few things I didn't actually know about this game, despite watching those cutscenes however long ago. But now that you mention it, it does sound familiar.
Now, this Navi gives us a bit of a riddle. He says something about one of many birds. What does he say?
Isn't it just that's the
I
riddle?
think that's it.
It's literally just one of many birds.
Yeah.
I think he just says that. That's why it's so cryptic. And he says, "Go retrieve an item for me." The hint is one of many birds.
Yeah.
And then it's something to do with a room that we've been in like twice or 3 times. I think it's 3 times.
Something like that.
And apparently it made a lot more sense in Japanese. And it was kind of localized badly. Who knows?
It's related to a Japanese sort of saying,
Tradition.
and tradition regarding origami.
Origami cranes.
Yes, where like if you collect 1,000 origami cranes or make them, you'll have a wish granted, which is typically done for sick people. So that's why it's trying to get you to go to hospital.
Yep. And it was in Mamoru's room, who had the heart condition. And by the way, he's doing much better these days.
Yes.
The surgery was a success.
Yeah, we visited him during the Flam Man scenario. He gave us a gift.
The
but he was-
code to the hospital.
Yeah, and basically it was just like, yeah, I'm feeling much better. The doctors say I'm gonna be let out soon, so thank you so much for all your help. Yes, we
And
go.
so we steal one of the origami cranes and just bring it back to the Snavi.
Feel. Lan has never stolen anything in his life. He's borrowing it.
Yeah, sure.
borrowing it for a Navi on the internet that can't actually grab this origami bird physically.
That's what you think, Krish.
We turn it into an NFT, and then it's like sweet.
So, we're actually... He also does not know where rank 6 is, but we actually get an email from our friend Chod.
Odd. He says, go check the message board in ACDC Square.
Yes, that's literally all he says.
Now,
Just got
you
some
might be
information.
wondering, why are we playing the Japanese version? Is it just like text is faster, this or that? Does anyone want to explain?
Coming up is a very particular skip that only the Japanese version can do. Basically, when we go and interact with this message board in ACDC Square, we read a message from the rank 3 Navi that says, come to Undernet 4 or something along those lines.
Yeah, basically that's it. A dead end in Undernet 4.
Yep. And so, when that happens, in a very particular version of the Japanese version, you are actually able to, instead of going and dealing with the rank 3 Navi, you can just go immediately and deal with rank 2 Navi, which allows you to skip a very significant undernet trip and save several
Just 3
minutes. It saves
Just 3. It's only 3.
only 3 minutes, which a lot of that is actually saved back on the US version because the JP version had a lot more storage space for extra animations like on the title screen or on the jack-in or on the Navi
customizer. Yeah.
So all of those actually, because they show up multiple times, do result in not as much time save, but there is still time save because of this particular skip. Be careful though.
Don't press L.
If you press L in this comp, the game soft locks because it doesn't know what to say. Normally pressing the L button is like give you a hint about where to go. But it's confused as to why you're here right now if you do it.
Shake.
I could shake, but it causes iframes, so it's not worth it. Hit me.
Oh, it's not faster. It would have been worth it.
Oh, it's a good chip. I have at least used it once already. So, that allows us to skip Copyman, which is the rank 3 Navi for reference. So, we now are rank 2, and we've been told the location of rank 1 Navi, also known as S, who can give us information or give us the Gigafreeze weapon.
This is all very correct. I can confirm this is lore accurate. Yep, and thankfully for us, Copyman ends up just copying Gutsman. So it's not actually an interesting, cool, unique Navi. It just sort of is a strong version of Gutsman.
Yeah.
Very sad.
He can do this cool new thing, but that's about it.
But he doesn't really do it if we beat him fast enough. So
you shouldn't see it in a good run.
Yeah. There's a lot of plot that happens here. It'd be a shame if we were to hold start. So basically, we go to this rank 1 Navi. This is the Undernet server, by the way. And who shows up other than Mamoru? He's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a kid, but also I'm the Undernet administrator. So yo, what's up?
My dad literally created the Undernet. No big deal.
Yeah, it's like his dad or his grandfather or something.
Yeah.
One or the other.
But yes, we also talk to S or rank 1, and they give us the Gigafreeze weapon. Base shows up again. We use Gigafreeze on him because
Not yet.
Oh, we don't?
No, not yet.
I thought that happened like right away.
No.
And it just
Drillman
doesn't work.
shows up and he steals Alpha.
Well, yes, but that's like simultaneous.
Yeah, but no, Drillman shows up, he steals Alpha, then we go fight Drillman, and then Alpha is right there, and then Base shows up.
Ah, okay. I
Yeah,
thought that
see,
happened.
I know
thought that
the
happened at the Undernet server. Okay.
No.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah. Because Drillman steals Alpha, we beat Drillman, and Alpha's just there. We're about to retrieve Alpha, and then Base is like, nope, I'm not gonna take him.
Good to have someone who actually knows the story rather than is relying on their memory from when they played this game when they were either 5 or like 13.
I love this game. That's all I will say.
So yes,
Remember
Drill
when
Man.
Drill Man punched a hole through the internet?
I
Good times.
remember.
literally just drills a hole from Scilab to Undernet 5.
Quick thing you might have noticed, Rish just changed areas really quickly and then literally went back. That just resets your step counter, and it cuts the encounters that you're likely to get from 2 to just this one. It's very nice. Quick,
Oh, I
nice
thought I got
little
lost.
thing. I mean,
Based on
with
how I've
Rish,
been
you
playing,
never know.
yeah.
Oh, is this a new corner as well? This makes sense.
You can put yourself in this corner, but I'm not going to do anything with it.
It would work as a corner, yeah. I technically use either of them.
Oh, very
was-
nice.
that
That was
really-
close.
That was late, but it worked.
That's the Drill Man quick kill. First try every time.
Yes, you have to air shot him before he drills into the sky, after which he becomes a terror to deal with.
Very annoying.
So you have to air shot him to get him to stagger, because air shot doesn't cause iframes. You can then immediately use Var Sword, E/ specifically, to deal the remainder of his 580 health.
I think the devs probably thought that, you know, because of Drill Man's mechanics, that he would be a pain, so they gave him only 600 HP, which, fortunately for us, all it takes is one Var Sword.
It's very nice. It's very nice that they were that considerate. To be
So
fair,
here, I guess the officials were like, we can't attach this very important pass onto this email, so go actually get it.
yes.
I probably just forgot. You send an email and it's like, oh, I
Oh.
forgot the attachment.
Every time.
Let me go get my internet assistant to fetch it for me at this point.
Like in BN1, where Mega Man hand delivers an email.
Yep,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yes.
It's the future.
So right now, because World 3 has acquired Alpha, they the whole world is on effectively lockdown right now. They're planning to go to war about all of this
Red
and whatnot.
alert.
Like
Red
everyone's
alert.
super scared about what's going to happen to the internet.
DEFCON 5.
Yeah. And so they have all these tanks out. People can't just take the metro all willy-nilly, which is what our friend Yai is mad about. She can't go where she wants to. And now
Okay.
Alpha has infiltrated some of the tanks.
tanks. Fun fact, Alpha is the sort of like prototype internet. In fact, in Japanese, its name is Proto instead of Alpha, because Proto Man's name is Blues. Anyway, that's all very confusing. We'll refer to it as Alpha. Here, Lan does a funny little
Go,
dance.
land, move.
He falls on his butt.
Good enough.
Dodges bullets.
Whoa.
Literally just dodges a tank's bullets.
Very good. Turns out that when the enemy has the prototype intranet and your tanks are connected to the internet, things can go wrong. So, maybe don't. Thankfully for us, Varsword saves the day, and
So these tanks aren't a big deal. Watch this.
yeah, it is easy.
Wait. Alright, there we go. Took me a
Yeah,
few more tries than
good
normal.
Nothing to see here. Move
Nothing to
along.
see here. Diagonal movement saves the day.
Isometric.
So, now that we have
Don't
dealt
stop
with...
lock.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
try
don't
my
stop lock.
hardest. I don't... Never managed to do it.
I did it once on purpose, though, after many, many tries.
Didn't soft lock.
Very good.
But yeah, so right now we found out that our dad, who has been in the hospital because, we literally set his workplace on fire, yeah. He's been recovering from those burns and whatnot. He's gone missing from the hospital, and our
And
mom is
so-
freaking out.
Yeah, so we gotta give him a really important delivery. Give him some aspirin.
Mhm.
make sure that he's all fine after the very intense fire.
Yeah. So,
And it turns out he's all good. And he found out where the World 3, the bad guys, where their secret base is. And apparently it's an island in a really rough part of the ocean. So we're gonna have to get a boat there.
where better to
Any
get a
of you guys-
boat?
You seen a boat anywhere?
I mean, I have.
What? Where?
Right
Oh,
here.
But this boat's too crappy and old.
It's okay.
I think it needs a new engine.
It's
Do you have any
okay.
money?
Well, I have plenty of money, but let's go scam our rich friend instead.
True. Remember, kids, take care of your rich friends. They will overnight you a new boat engine.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, yai.
I can't tell you what I need it for. I can just tell you I need a boat engine, alright?
He knows.
Then we just go to bed. And we enter the final day.
Yes, the final day of the game. But first we need to read an email from our dad, who gives us a Navicus program that is completely useless. No one
I
knows what about it.
mean, sure. I'll accept it.
It's a program that's supposed to be very helpful for the final comps of these games, but we don't need it for our purposes. Because
Yeah,
we
we
already
are
know
speed gamers.
we all know the information that it gives to us.
So we get to the boat, which has the new engine, and surprise, surprise, our friends show up because they're like, we're not, you need the power of friendship land.
Yes.
Come on.
You know who
And
else
we,
happens to show up? However, I don't know how he does it. Our good old friend
Beard
Beardman, and
No!
he's gone.
He got shocked. It's a shame, really. I wonder how it happened. All right. These are the final dungeons of the game. Get ready for some real good music
And some cool movement,
and some very cool movement.
hopefully.
There are four areas, and they all have these claws. Oh, that was a kind of early encounter.
Yeah.
These claws, they move around in set paths at set speeds. Oh. And there's also these invisible puddles on the ground that are sort of remnants of alpha. They will grab you if you move over them. And that's what the program that your dad sent you is for, is to be able to see those puddles on the ground. However, they're always in the same spots, so we know where they are. We know how to avoid them. It's all good. So we just do some cool movement. A lot of it is to get on good cycles with the claws. And another fun thing is that if you get caught by a claw, whether on purpose or by mistake, your step counter gets reset.
Come back here. Yes. Step counter gets reset, and the claw patterns get reset as well. So you can
exactly,
use that to know where the claws will be or get them in a better position for a better cycle.
Yeah, so I said, whether by mistake or by purpose, because we definitely get caught by the claws a few times on purpose here and there. Wait, Flashman has attacks? What?
It's the upgraded version.
True. And so, as any good Mega Man game, we have a bit of a sort of boss gauntlet at the end. We have some upgraded, stronger versions of Flashman, some other of our favorite gimmicky navis from Battle Network 3 that hopefully we can just press A and beat.
I'm going to show off the cool movement.
I don't blame you. I think it's well worth it.
All right. So we're going to do one quick wiggle here with some buffered movement to specifically
Yeah.
slide past, and
Oh,
I messed that
no.
part up. Let's try that again.
So the big thing to note of these claws is that their hitboxes are round. So you can actually, on those corners, kind of do a little bit of a clip, do some buffered movement. Yeah,
There we
mostly buffered movement.
Yep.
And get ahead of the claws for a nice, good cycle.
Yeah, this sets up a very, very nice cycle with some of the later claws in this comp.
Yeah. Another fun thing is that pressing A actually slows down the claws ever so slightly. And so we can press A either a set number of times or just mash it to sort of slow the cycle down a little bit. There's only so much we can do, but we do a good job.
Unfortunately, this version of Bubbleman is very annoying, where you can't just use Varsword at the start and deal with that fight. You actually need to get all of the bubbles on your side so that they're no longer in your way. There we go. Very nice little cycle there.
Rish pressed A 18 times before one of those claws to make sure that he could just clip through the corner.
Now I'm actually just mashing A. It's not a very particular number, but I'm trying to slow down these claws so I can hit a even nicer cycle if possible.
I know the one. Oh,
Easy clap.
very nice. Oh, that was so close. I was a little nervous.
It was hard. Okay.
Ooh, nice draw.
So we hit him with an extra Aqua Chip. The second Aqua Slash
goodness.
kept him there even though he was
That's just
supposed
gross.
to go away. And so he can just hit him 3 times with Varsword and he just takes it all to the face.
That's another
my favorite
JP
comp.
1.0 glitch.
Yes. Normally,
I
My
can't
favorite
do-
comp.
Too fast movement.
I love this comp.
just do good movement around these corners.
Oh, it looks so good.
Just do good movement around those corners and you just avoid all of the claws. It's easy.
Oh, that's so nice.
You actually want to avoid doing perfect movement.
Yeah, you can go too fast.
Yeah. I actually did. I introduced a bit of extra horizontal movement there too, just to slide right past that one too.
Oh, it's so good. I love it.
Yeah, shout outs to Smog for improving these comps just a little bit.
Yeah, this one in
Especially this part.
particular. I found that whole first half of the movement by pure chance. I was just sort of messing around and figured out that if you just do good movement, it just works.
That is also
How
the
m-
Smog
how many A
swag
presses is
strats.
that?
That one, I did like 26.
You mean for the first half of the comp, Terra?
No, for that
No,
thing.
the Smog swag strat?
I did
guess
26. There, you can do it differently. It depends.
I still gotta improve the Smog swag strat, so, stay tuned.
All right, come here, Plant Man. I'm gonna punch you in the face. Aww.
Dang.
Baited.
Fine. All right. This is actually
Honestly,
a
that worked
two-fight
out
comp.
worse for Plant Man.
It did. So
Time
yes.
For another charge shot. See you in 2 years.
It takes forever. Got him with the Aqua Slash.
Very nice. 2 bosses back to back, nothing when faced with a Varsword. Or, a couple
multiple
of them.
Varswords, yeah. And this is the final comp. Actually, funnily enough, I think nowadays comp 3 is pretty easy. Comp 2 is probably the hardest at this point.
I would agree. I would agree.
This comp
one's-
it's hard, but like at the end of the day, there's some stuff you can do that just makes it
I
fine.
think it's hard when you first start learning it. And then after a while, 2 is definitely the harder one. And this one's kind of like,
About ran into
it's
that.
okay.
What do you mean?
How many times did you mash A here?
14.
Okay. I still need to learn these.
14 isn't to line up anything yet. It lines
What's
up. It lines up
The conveyors at the
that.
start.
It lines up this specifically. Is the more important thing. Yeah, the conveyors you can do less though. You can do like 8 and be fine. But doing 14
Without pressing A, which was not known overseas. That first part is hard.
Yeah, for sure.
We get it.
Yeah.
First
Oh,
try,
very
Drill
nice.
Man.
Both
Fun fact: my
times.
PB lost
Now,
like 3 full
Rish is going to
minutes.
save in a very specific spot, which is just where the cutscene put him. He's going to do a little bit of a folder edit. And we're gonna get to the very end of the game.
Yeah, we got a double boss fight coming up. Base is going to make another appearance. Unfortunately for him, he forgot to bring his indestructible aura.
He only brought
And then
the
we
one
get to
that
fight
goes away after
The
100
internet.
damage.
Yes. Get to fight the literal internet.
And we get to shake things up.
Yes. Yes. We do get to shake things up. That's wrong. What was that? Did I get there 1 frame late?
I swear there's just some quirk to those corners, the way you slide off. You probably could have fixed it
Yeah.
with parity, but I guess the base fight.
I don't.
good?
Yeah, I don't know how that base fight would look, and I don't know if that would end up being 1 frame late.
There we go.
Yeah. If only your setup worked, whether or not you got an encounter, and for all parodies.
Imagine that.
So,
Yeah.
fortunately for us, base was nothing compared to the good Varsword. And then Alpha...
It's nothing compared to a good shake weight.
This
Yeah.
is Proto, so he's got a core that we have to destroy, and he's got multiple attack phases. He's dead.
Yeah.
And time's coming up.
Time's coming up as soon as this
2008.
screen starts fading to black after this bit of movement. Not here yet, not here yet. So when the screen starts fading to black, that's time in about 3, 2, 1, time.
There we go. Oops.
We're just gonna let Rish call it next time, Smog.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right.
GG, by the way.
Is BN3. Pretty overall solid run. Like, I was even making some mistakes going back and forth, going the wrong way, and still very under a sub 3 estimate.
Very
much.
good.
But yes,
Um,
just
so-
to quickly describe what happened with that
Shake.
shake.
The fastest
Good idea,
route.
good idea.
Yeah. What happened with Shake there was basically Shake has a damage value that it reads from when it spawns in. And funnily enough, you can overwrite that damage value by using another ship. So normally you can't actually do that because when you use a Shake, there's an animation of you throwing it, and then there's a end lag where you can't use any other chips until the Shake spawns. But if you get hit during the throwing animation and it's already
Well,
land
just after the throwing animation.
just after the throwing animation, so it's in the air, so it's actually going to spawn, you can use another chip and have its damage value overwrite what Shake will do. So, Wood plus 30 and other chips such as Navi plus 20 or Air Shoes have been used in the past. They have a damage value of about 10,000, so you're overwriting Shake to deal 10,000 damage per hit, which just kills Alpha.
In one shot. Alpha, by the way, had 2,000 HP.
Yes.
So,
like the
you know,
most
shout
HP
outs
in the
to
game. Even would
Mars.
not. Yes.
Mars is one of the he's not really a runner, he's more sort of a mad scientist of Battle Network.
This is correct. An accurate statement.
Yeah. And he found that one day. He found a slightly slower setup for it using some different chips as well as the Shake chip. And then a couple months later, he found the one set up using like a element plus attack chip, which is what was used today. Very good, very good.
It's a very solid way to deal with the final boss. It's more of a consistency strat to manip that fight. Technically, you could just draw it turn 1, but since it's, again, a 2-chip combo, it's pretty difficult to expect that and get a good base fight as well, so that's why we typically manip for that. The double air shot at the beginning opens up his core, but it's not required to do that. That just makes it so that the first hit of Shake deletes Alpha rather than the third hit. Shake will typically go down, then up, then down, then up again, or vice versa.
4 hits.
Yep, he'll hit 4 times.
Conveniently, since Alpha is in the middle.
But yes, so that is Battle Network 3 in about 2 hours and 53 minutes. Overall, a very interesting run that applies a lot of different things about RNG manip in Battle Network to go pretty consistently fast at this point. We did not used to very
like Tide Jagumba.
Yeah, this actually was 9 seconds slower than the old Whir that was set like a little over a year ago, I would say. Or, a couple years ago maybe.
No. It was
it a year and a half maybe?
a little over.
Feels like a decade.
Yeah,
It does feel like a while.
I don't even know, to be honest.
The end of an era.
Yeah.
No, it was in 2019 actually.
Okay. So, this run pretty much matched that. Before that, no one else had even come close to getting sub 3 even, like a sub 3 hour time. And now we can do it very consistently with using a lot of unique strategies to manipulate different aspects of the game.
Shouts to Rowdy.
Yes.
Good game.
It's a
And then we
very
got a title screen star.
Yep. It's a very good game, and typically what we do to end a run, it's a very good tradition. I will load up a different save file on the US
Crash the
version.
emulator.
It didn't crash, don't worry.
Wow.
But we will load up the US version of the game, which I have the cart back there, but unfortunately I'm doing this on emulator for now, so that we can do the time-honored tradition of humor. I read that flowers were preserved in King Tut's tomb. Really? What kind? Chrysanthemummies. Ha ha. Ha ha. Thank you, Smog. And that is Battle Network 3. So yes. Shoutouts to Tirage and Smog for helping with commentary and with helping route this latest version of the any percent category, as well as Kilios, Draco, Markro, other people who've all contributed to this new route in their own small ways. And shoutouts to Team BN as a whole. Oh, Juan. Only Juan as well. I can't believe I almost forgot.
And also Dallas and Prismatic Black.
Those are, yes, other phenomenal runners who have not been as active lately, but still have contributed their own ways. And then shoutouts to Team BN as a whole. Very welcoming and great community for not just speedrunning, but just playing the Battle Network and Star Force games casually, but also for the speedrunning community. And
We have randomizers.
we do have randomizers for these games. That is correct. They're very interesting. That allow you to get some interesting chips at different places, rather than have to know exactly where everything is. You can get them, and you have to have a really good understanding of what chips do what and how to properly build a folder in order to be able to run those randomizers. So it's
Yeah, you just learn.
you can't just learn,
And if you're interested in watching a randomizer race, there actually was one done on a GDQ hotfix a couple months ago. So it's up there on YouTube, and it's definitely, I would like to think, entertaining,
Yes.
especially if you're a little familiar with BN3.
It was definitely a blast. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all of the shouts that I have. Smog or Terry, do you have any other final words? Smog first.
I think you shouted out anyone who I would have shouted out. Just, Team BN in general. This is one of the first games that I learned how to speedrun. In fact, I think the first one, and I'm very fond of it. That's all.
Tarash, any shoutouts, callouts?
Nope. Thank you for watching. Battle Network's a great series. It's got unique combat. Hope you give it a try. And we'll see you in an upcoming marathon.
Yes, hopefully we would love to see this in whatever marathon I choose to submit this run to. So, hoping to see it there, and looking forward to seeing more runs of this game. So, thank you for watching.